Everybody? Stevie B in the building with your boy Hammer.
Let's go.
We've got a home league, a redraft going on right now. It is ESPN, which is not sleeper, so you can't see like a draft board, which kind of sucks. But hopefully y'all can see there who's being taken. So JJ went 101, McCaffrey went 102.
Ooh, that was quick. I like that.
Ooh, Eckler. Okay, so you're gonna leave me Chase? I'll take it. I'll take it. So I had the fourth pick, so I took Chase. And when is your pick, Hammer?
Eighth.
Okay, Boggle, I took Cheetah. I think he took Cheetah in the other league too, right?
I'm not sure. I didn't really lock in on everybody else's pick because I was kind of doing something else.
Yeah, I think he took Cheetah in the other league too.
But I like my league because it's a 2 quarterback league and yours is a 1 with 3 wide receivers and now 2 flexes. So the strategy is different, which I do like.
Mm-hmm.
You can't employ the same strategy for even in our dynasty leagues, our home league and our subscriber league. Like the strategy varies from league to league, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of, you kind of have to be a good GM and know your league. I was actually explaining to my wife's cousin's husband. I'm trying to get him in one of our leagues, and he actually watched me draft, my home league, and I was kind of explaining to him the draft strategy depending on the league settings and all that stuff. So I love the different leagues and being able to alter your strategy depending on the league.
Yeah. So Henry went at the 1-6. And let's see what I guess Pagan didn't make it in here, so he's gonna wind up getting who at the top of the list?
Kelsey.
Travis Kelsey, of course. Shit.
I wouldn't have mind taking Kelsey, to be honest with you. This is an interesting thing. I'm not going to go Cooper Kupp here. There's a couple different.
I would have went Kelsey if Jamar Chase
Yeah,
was. If
yeah.
Jamar Chase was gone, I would have went Kels.
I think I'm going to do this because I thought about doing this in my home league, but he was taken already. But I'm going to take Bijan.
I got Bijan in a few leagues.
So that's my first share. That's my first share of Bijan. Kevin, what up, man? Appreciate you joining us.
Kev, what's good, Kev? I'm okay with Bijan coming off as the first running back off the board. Like for me, it's JJ, Chase, Bijan is like my 1, 2, 3, and then you can have CMC. You could put CMC ahead of Bijan, but I just like.
But I think CMC is the more established guy. He's gonna get the receiving work, but you can make the argument for Bijan as well, just because he's a little bit fresher. He doesn't have the mileage on him. They have Eli Mitchell in San Francisco. They have Algier in Atlanta, but I like the Bijan pick there. I could have went a number of different ways.
I like it. Saquon goes at the 1-9, Cooper Kupp at the 1-10, Devontae at the 1-11.
I hate being stuck in the middle. Anywhere in a 12-team draft, I hate anywhere from like 5 to 10, 5 to 9. Ugh, it's not the worst. It's the worst, but I like being 1, 2, 3 or 10, 11, 12. That's nice because the picks kind of, you can double barrel for the most part. 1, 2 and 11, 12 is ideal, but.
Talking out of another trade this week, the one where I had Hawk and Addison. The other guy was given Watson, Burke, Komet, and a third.
Nah, Hawk and Addison's more valuable there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, definitely.
For sure.
I don't even remember that, to be honest, but
I remember that briefly because we were like, TJ Hawkinson is a top 3 tight end, and anytime we bring up the warp, it's basically Kelsey, Andrews, and Hawkinson, and a massive drop off after that. So you want those 3 guys, and if you have that, you have a major advantage. And especially for Dynasty, Addison is going to be really good. I think Watson will be really good as well, but you kind of rather have
Mahomes early second. All right, so Pollard went to 112, Diggs to 201, Chubb to 202, Mahomes the 3-3, Garrett Wilson the 4-4. I mean, yeah.
I can
Garrett
go a
Wilson is 4-4.
number. I can go a number of ways here. CeeDee Lamb is very intriguing. I have him in my league, and I don't like to double up on that. So I think I'm gonna go
EPA. Stop fucking around.
Who?
I said just take best player available. Don't fuck around.
No, I mean there's a couple those three guys there: CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown. You can make the case for all three.
Yeah, that's true.
Even Waddle to a little bit of a lesser degree. I'm leaning one way. I'm gonna make the pick.
Jacobs too.
No, I'm not.
Your boy Jacobs up there.
It is AJ.
Who's AJ?
I want to diversify my portfolio. I like the AJ Brown pick there.
CD.
I was tempted to go CD. I really wanted to do that.
Oh my God, fucking Lou. That's him, right? Judge Judy, that fucker.
Who'd he snipe? Who'd he get?
Fucking St. Brown.
Yeah, boy. I could have went St. Brown, AJ, or CD. Any one of those three I would have been happy with. So I'm happy with any of those guys, obviously. And remember, this is a one quarterback league, so the quarterbacks aren't as valuable. In my league, it's a 2 quarterback league, and I'm pretty sure we might do a show on, just a review of that, just to show you the different strategies, similar to a super flex, but even more important because you have to start 2 quarterbacks. So, the strategy is a lot different. We did my draft at 7, and it's a 2 quarterback league, so very, very different strategies here.
I've got a ton of fucking Jalen Waddle, bro. I don't know why he's just always available when it's like one of my picks, and it's like, the Amon-Ra's and the CDs and all that are gone, and it's like, who's my guy after that? And it's like, I mean, Waddle's been a wide receiver 1-2 seasons in a row. I mean, fuck it, right?
Go for it. Yeah, listen.
Hurts.
That's not bad, man.
Hurts goes right after. Okay, so Josh Allen went too. I missed that one. Okay. At the 2-7, 2-8 was St. Brown, 2-9 I took Waddle, 2-10 went Jalen Hurts.
And those rushing quarterbacks like Allen and Hurts, I don't mind going a little bit higher in 1 quarterback leagues because you're going to get the rushing upside. Quarterbacks that don't give you as much rushing upside, you can kind of get in the 3rd, late 2nd, early 3rd.
Let's go meet.
Mm-hmm.
In my estimation.
I've got a few shares of this one guy that I might take. We'll see. We still got RB's kind of.
Hold on. Can you hear me there?
I really want to take a certain guy here, but there's 2 guys I really want here, and I don't know who I want to take. Higgins just went. JT just went. Olave. There goes Jacobs. Who do I do? I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. Take on my boy fucking Ridley. Taking my boy Hammer. I can't hear you. You're on mute. There you go.
Oh shit!
I took you off. I got you.
You really love you some Ridley. You really love you some Ridley this year.
I mean, I don't know how you cannot compare it to some of the other guys like in that area. Like, yeah, I mean, I love me some Keenan. I like me some Amari too, but
yeah, no, I agree.
Keenan is a little bit older. Kevin said, I feel like everyone forgot Waddle where he is. Yeah, man, a lot of people forget about.
So
Waddle.
in this particular league, I'm tempted to go quarterback, but the wide receiver thins out really quick with 3 of those guys. I don't like.
Now there's two flexes too.
Yeah, and 2 flexes. So in a redraft,
There's still a few QBs that I like, so that I'm
same,
okay with having, even with waiting. So depending who you like or who you want to take, you know.
same. But I do like this guy as my solid wide receiver too in this particular league.
I was just talking about him. Yep, I like him.
I was tempted to go QB, but with the amount of with the 3 wide receiver set, with the 2 flexes, I couldn't sell myself short at those positions to reach for a QB, even though there were some guys that I really, really liked at that spot. There's just too many other positions to fill with good depth at QB. You know, and it's 1 QB. It's not like super flex. If it was super flex, obviously. So I wanted to take a QB there, but I just couldn't reach with the amount of depth at the QB position. I had to go wide receiver there.
I felt the same way. Like I really kind of wanted a QB, but I was like, you know what? There's still a bunch of guys, like I said, that I like, so I'm okay with waiting right now.
And you know what's crazy is from my league to your league, you have to like switch your mindset really fast, right? Because my league is 2 QBs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. And in your league, it's 1 QB, 3 wide receivers, 2 flex. So you kind of have to like really be a fantastic GM and alter your mindset entirely on what your strategy is going to be.
It's a nice pick. Ron fucking took Gibbs.
That is a nice pick.
I was like praying that he might, like possibly make it back. You really kind of have to look on ESPN because like the ADP is all fucked up and there's guys that are like lower. You really kind of got to scroll, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Because there were some guys even during my draft where coming off the subscriber league and then coming into my league, like there were guys way down there. And obviously the subscriber is Dynasty. This is Redraft, so it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Najee Harris goes, Jahmyr Gibbs goes, ETN goes, Mark Andrews goes at the 312 and the 4-1. So it's a Mark Andrews, Christian Watson double barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Even still, there's some good quarterbacks, and I think teams have adjusted from my draft to your draft in terms of letting the quarterbacks kind of go a little bit. We're coming up on the 4th round,
mm-hmm.
and there's still some fantastic quarterbacks. So
it just gives us, gives you some more options that, you can wait, you can still snag who you want.
But I just think, like I said, with your format, 3 wide receivers and now 2 flexes, those wide receivers and running backs are more valuable than the top echelon quarterbacks. Kenneth Walker, Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't have took Deshaun Watson there, but that's just me.
Oh wow, well, yeah, okay, yeah, that's a little early for Watson, but I guess we could say thanks. I mean, well, Watson's a good guy that you can really wait on because he goes really really late. Like you can really wait on people. Like even like people might take all 12. All 12 teams might have a quarterback, and Watson is still on the boards.
Still hanging around,
so,
yeah.
So he's a guy that you can wait.
There's still some value here at quarterback, and I'm super tempted. We only have a minute to pick, so you kind of have to really make up your mind pretty quickly which route you want to go. And I think this is where I'm going to do it and just establish myself here. I have to do it. I had to. He was there. I didn't expect him to be there. In your league, I should have expected him to be there, but I feel like that's a good value at the back at the middle of the 4th round. I had to do it. It's just been my guy for a long time.
I feel you.
I feel like I should have went with more of an upside quarterback. Like I could have went Lamar there because he gives me the rushing upside. I could have went with Justin Fields there. He gives me the rushing upside, but Joe Burrow is just my guy, and I just trust him, especially down the stretch.
Fucking he takes I was just about to say, bro, I'm about to go with my boy Lamar, fucking Supernova 12, and fucking bang. He takes him. So in this sense, I gotta go with
where's he going? Is he on a mission or not?
I'm going on with one of my 4 horsemen. Fuck it, we're going Herbie. We're going Herbie.
I love that.
We're going Herbie. Fuck
I was actually thinking about Herbert as well. I just love Joe Burrow a little bit more.
No, I feel you. I like Burrow before Herbert though too. So I have a lot of shares of Burrow. So
Hopkins at the 410. That's interesting.
Hopkins, okay, damn.
That's I would have steered in another direction, but that's interesting.
That is interesting. There's still a lot of dudes that
that you like, that you're like, okay.
Jesus. So also, Hopkins, there goes Pierce.
Okay, that's not a terrible pick. Still some other guys I might have preferred.
There goes Stevenson. Running backs are flying off the board right now.
Which generally in a redraft, if you have one of those top 4 or 5 guys, CMC, Bijan, Derrick Henry in redraft, I'm good with. Jonathan Taylor, like I'm okay with. There's good depth thereafter. I could wait.
There goes Fields, Terry. Yeah. Fields and Terry. Why didn't the Vikes pick up Lance, Stevie? I don't know, bro. To be honest, for a 4th round pick, I mean, what the fuck? I would have fucking gave up a 3rd. I don't give a like. We shouldn't have let that happen, especially since we haven't decided what the fuck Kirk is doing here. All right, so I'm now going with my fucking boy here, fucking TJ fucking Hawk. Lock it in, baby.
I got to share with TJ Hawk. I felt good about that in the 5th round. You got to love that. That's fantastic value.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
Waller's
I'm hurting in other places, but I feel like I like the little advantage. I think that I'm building at wide receiver
with a top 3
Chase, with Chase, Waddle, and Ridley, and then the QB and Herbert. The advantage at tight end with Hawkinson. So I'm suffering right now. I don't have any RBs, but I like kind of what's happening so far. Oh, there goes Deontay. I like Deontay. I thought about going Deontay, but I thought Hawkinson might be just a better little advantage for me.
I did like Deontay too. I have a couple of shares of different guys. I think I'm gonna surprise you a little bit. Ooh.
Did I tell you about my Dynasty trade? My
Kyle Hold on. Let me make my pick and then tell me.
My bad. This motherfucker got to concentrate.
You goddamn right, because this is a pivotal spot here.
Drake, okay. Now you're on my boy Drake, okay.
It's my 2nd share of Drake in back-to-back redrafts. I took Drake London.
Now, were you? I know after the rookie season, were you kind of on Drake, or what makes you like Drake? I know I've talked about him a ton and kind of the things that I like, but what makes you like Drake London?
Well, I have Drake and Bijan, which makes me a little nervous, and I didn't really think about that till after I made the pick, so that might leave me hanging a little bit. But the fact that Drake is my 3rd wide receiver is not that big of a deal. I just think that there are some quarterbacks, right? And you kind of take a look at Garrett Wilson being one of those guys where Garrett Wilson had the profile, and regardless of the quarterback, he was still able to go out there and really do his thing. And Drake London kind of was the same, a little bit to a lesser degree, but you got to imagine with a full off season, you know, and this is Drake London's what, third year now?
Mm,
You kind of think he's ready for that.
Second.
Oh shit, second.
Last year was his rookie year, so we had almost 900 receiving yards.
Right, and he developed a little bit of a rapport with Ritter towards the end of the season, right? We talked about his end of season stats and all that good stuff. So I like his profile, and I think he can be one of those guys that develops into a matchup proof wide receiver, similar to Garrett Wilson, which we all think is pretty matchup proof at this point, considering what he did last year with that terrible Jets quarterback play. So I felt really good about that, and the fact that he's my third wide receiver.
Oof, Kamara. Fuck, I was trying to wait for Kamara.
So I have two veterans. I have the young guy. I have Bijan, which I feel pretty good about. I feel like I want to stay wide receiver here because on my next swing around.
Back to the future. So he's got Burrow, Bijan, AJ, Cooper, London.
I think I like this guy here for a really good bust out seat, like return to.
Wow, Brandon Cooks. Okay, James Conner goes next. How I'm able to get this guy so late in all my drafts. I have so many shares of J.K. Dobbins. It's crazy right now. But he's been falling like at a value. I don't have to reach. I'm taking him late.
And also the thing I like about this compared to some of our Dynasty leagues, it's quick, right? So you have to make your picks. You have to kind of be locked and loaded, ready to pivot as well. There's still some good values there. And I think I'm targeting a guy that I think I don't know if I could go that route. I was thinking about it, but there's a reason. If he gets picked or if he doesn't get past my pick, I'll explain why. Which I would really like to go this pick, but it wouldn't be beneficial to my team.
It wouldn't be beneficial to your team.
No, and I'll explain why in a second. I'll explain why in a second.
I
feel like Madison's a good pick there at the 6'10".
I like Madison. I was thinking about taking him, but with JK still on the board, I feel like JK's got some RB1 upside. Madison, I kind of like the back end RB1 maybe.
The thing I worry about with Dobbins is the siphoning off by Lamar. That just worries me a ton. And they got all these wide receivers. Like, I do like him, and I do think he'll be due for a really good season, but I just worry about the siphoning off of the touchdown, especially at the goal line by Lamar. Maybe they're trying to throw it to OBJ, Zay Flowers.
Motherfuck. That was going to be my next dude. No, I feel you. I mean, I feel you 100%. But even with that, still, that hasn't stopped JK from producing when he's on the field. So, that's like the other part of it. Like, yeah, Lamar does take away a little bit, but JK still.
But now do you feel with the addition at the wide receiver core that might siphon off even more, maybe especially at the goal line?
No, I think it means that they're going to use him a little bit more, where they're going to be more of a passing offense. They don't want to run Lamar as much. So I like JK a lot this year.
All right. So another question I did want to ask you really quick is, do you pay attention to the bye weeks?
No.
Especially in redraft?
Taking best player available. I'm not worried about the bye weeks right now. We'll adjust to that in season if we need to. But no, I'm not worrying about bye weeks unless it's like, you see obviously it's like 3, 4 guys or something like that the same
Yeah,
week. But even still, maybe that 1 week you lose, but then you're full strength for the rest of the game. So you can kind of look at it both ways, right?
I agree. I think I know who you might take. No, you're not going to take this guy because you already have.
You just went. Woo! Damn, there's a few guys here that I do really like.
I think I know exactly where I'm going next. Hopefully, he gets to me.
Really don't know where I'm going here.
You're gonna have to know pretty quickly. Ooh, a little Monty action. I like it. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. I feel like because after him, there's kind of just a tier break for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at the RBs that are kind of left there. So I feel like that was a tier break, and I wanted to get that.
I think you might be right, and I think that's.
At the running back position, not in total. I could have went wide receiver easily, but for me at the running back position, I don't know about the rest of those guys there.
I think you might be right, but even still. Oh no! Did he get taken? Where the fuck is he?
You're looking for? I don't pick for a while, so.
Wait a minute. I had somebody queued up, and I don't know why he's not in my queue. Oh yeah, no, I do have him queued up, and why he's not there? Yep.
Okay. I saw him there. I saw him there.
So what I was gonna say is this guy. I was gonna take Kyle Pitts, but
Oh,
I have
okay.
Bijan and London and Pitts. So that trio, I didn't want to. What happened?
So you got the whole offense.
Yeah, so I didn't want to go there, and that would have really left me in a position. Now it's week 11, which I would have probably had a pretty good feel. But what if I was 5-4 at that time, or 5-5, and I needed a big win, and I didn't have Bijan, Drake, and Pitt. You know what I mean? So I do take a look at the bye weeks. It's not the be all end all, but in that position, I was looking at Kyle Pitts, and I really wanted to take him because he's available, and I feel like he's a good value at this spot here, where I was picking in the 7th round. But there's enough depth at the tight end position that I can kind of push that back a little bit and still get somebody not on that Atlanta offense.
So I don't know if you noticed, but in round 7, pick number 10, Justin Tucker comes off the board.
That's bullshit, and don't ever do that. If you're out there, don't pick a kicker in round 7 of an 18-round draft. One quarterback. Don't ever do that.
Justin Tucker's a beast, but I mean, come on.
He is a beast, but don't do that. Kyle Pitts goes at the 8-1, so Dotson and Pitts. That's a nice pick in the 8-1. I really wanted to take Pitts, but okay. I think I'm gonna go with your guy. I'm gonna
fuck you.
Actually,
just fucking do it.
No, I'm gonna do it. Is that it? No, that's not it.
No.
Who were you talking about? Because my pick is over.
Yeah, but I haven't picked yet. Nah, I thought you were gonna go with my boy JSN.
No. I was actually gonna go running back or tight end because I had my wide receivers and flexes are filled.
I like Freiermuth. We've talked extensively kind of about Freiermuth. I mean, first 2 seasons, 60+ catches. I think he's only the 2nd tight end to ever do that. So,
and that Steelers offense is trending in the right direction. I'm not going to say it's going to be prolific, but it's trending in the right direction. Kenny Pickett looks solid. Like, he looks comfortable. I do have some shares of Deontay, so I have Freiermuth and Pickens. on the same offense. I have London and Robinson on the same offense. Do you stay away from guys on the same offense? I know you say you pick first available, but is that something that you think about as well?
I mean, not necessarily, because you can always trade those guys. You can just take them just for the value of, what they have, and you can always kind of trade after. But I mean, yeah, I don't really want three guys on the same offense,
What
especially
about
an
two?
offense that's not like going to be a top five, unless they're going to be like a top five offense. Then yeah,
Yeah.
but
I like Frymuth because of the at the shallow tight end position, and Pickens is my, so far my second flex.
Mhm. So this is a really tough pick for me here, but I think because you know how much I love JSN, but I do constantly say how much, Jordan Addison is probably going to be the best rookie wide receiver the first year. Quentin Johnson has that ability too, especially if guys get hurt. But I feel like in an offense where, we're going to be a top offense, Kirk is going to throw the ball 600 plus times. And I do have Hawkinson here as well. So it's kind of like, oh, fuck. Now I got two guys in the same offense now that we're talking about it, which I didn't even, again, not even realizing or talking about. But hey,
but Addison is more of a secondary guy. Like, you're not counting on him, especially initially early on. But I think there's enough. I think there's enough in that offense to support those three guys having really solid. I mean, obviously JJ and Hawk are going to be top at their position, but Addison, if he's your second, first or second flex, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's why I want any part of that offense. Any part of a good score, a great scoring offense, a top 5 offense, top 10 offense. You want guys on that team,
For sure. Why people are still picking Michael Thomas is beyond me.
I mean, listen, apparently he's back. We'll see. We'll see. And the crazy thing is, like, he could be like, this is too early to take him, but
we've seen. We don't need to see.
At a certain point, right? At a certain point, he does
becomes a value.
He does become a value. How late he's going, so it just depends where you take him. Just depends.
Ooh, I was looking at B-Rob. I was, but there's still decent options available at the RB spot, and this is my RB2. And the fact that I have Bijan kind of is why I punted on RB2 for a little while, because I wanted to fill those critical wide receiver positions, especially now, because for those out there, he added Quentin. I liked Quentin. I think I was gonna try and pick him, but
that's a nice pick.
You added an additional flex to your league this year. There was only one flex with 3 wide receivers, so
yes, I did.
The additional but the additional value, I should say, on the wide receivers is a little more than it has been in the past. Maybe even running backs to a lesser degree, especially receiving running backs. There's a little more boosted value to those, top wide receivers, and then obviously receiving running backs with the additional flex spot.
So this one is tough because I've got 3 guys that I really like here. And after I picked Addison, Joku, Zay Flowers, Brian Robinson, and Quentin Johnson came off the board. So there's 3 guys. There's 3 guys I'm looking at here that I really like, and I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Like
oh, okay. JSN just went, so that makes it a little bit easier on me. That gives me 2 guys left here that I kind of want to go with, and damn, these are both of my dudes, and fuck it. I'm gonna go with the high-powered offense. We're gonna go with Sky.
Hey, there it is.
We're gonna go with Sky.
That's his guy. That's what he does. He takes his guys. So we really didn't talk about the Trey Lance trade to Dallas. What do you think about that? That was kind of big news.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 49ers failed him, really.
Well, I mean,
they didn't. He never really got a fair shot. I mean, the confidence obviously is down now because they like that's like Shanahan doesn't really have his back, and you can hear it like when he's talking, like the shit that he says is just like it's fucked. But anyway, they decide that they want to move on. I thought maybe he can go somewhere where he can possibly have a better chance. Sucks he went to the Cowboys, but listen, he'll be the number 2 there. If something happens to Dak, obviously he jumps in. They haven't gave Dak a new contract yet, so there's a ton of talk of about Dak. So
Do you
I don't
think?
know.
But do you think they failed him, or do you think it was just a product of Brock Purdy coming? If Brock Purdy came in and was average and they lost in the wild card round, I think we wouldn't be having this discussion. So maybe it was just a
Well,
maybe it was just a product of the San Francisco 49ers being a really good team, and you could plug in a 7th round Mr. Irrelevant kind of pick, and he turned out to be really good. And we talked about how much that San Francisco invested in him, and to only give him up. I don't remember what was the trade. Was it a 3rd round?
a 4th round pick they took.
A 4th round pick. So that kind of admits defeat in that sense.
I know.
Um,
The last few years, Shanahan's just kind of fudged the QB position. Like he's fudged it the last few years. Like it's just been a carousel of bullshit. They didn't know whether they were giving Trey the team. Jimmy gets them to the fucking championship game, and then they're like, you know what, Jimmy G, we're done with you. Trey Lance, it's your team. Here you go. They fucking call stupid ass play, run him up the gut, and fucking breaks his ankle, leg, whatever the fuck it
yeah,
was.
but that could
And
happen to any of these running quarterbacks.
it
Joe
can.
Burrow. That happened to Joe Burrow. That happened to Dak Prescott. That happened
It
to
it it
you know
can, it can, but
Alex Smith.
the fact that the picture that's being painted is saying that Trey Lance is a bust, I don't think is fair because he hasn't really got a chance yet, and he's still only 23 years old. So the one
I
good
agree.
thing about going to Dallas is it's a
He doesn't
pretty
have
good,
to.
at
No
least,
pressure.
organization. It's a good offense. He gets to sit and learn behind, Dak Prescott. So I think
Speaking
that
of
could be good for him, and for the future, he's going to get a shot somewhere because he was a 1st round pick. We know that 1st round picks
right
are going to get a shot somewhere. So
Baker
he,
Mayfield.
he just has to develop, and somewhere somehow he'll get a shot. Whether it's a Dak injury, whether they don't re-sign Dak, whether he gets traded again to another team eventually. Um, I think that he'll get a shot somewhere because I don't think that you can fairly label him a bust at this point because he hasn't really played. And when he has, I mean, he's averaged like 15 something points a game, the few games that he has played. I mean, you can throw away the fucking monsoon game, but we've seen the upside that he can possibly bring. So at this point, I mean, it's an L. It sucks, but if you have him in Dynasty, just have to hold him at this point and stash him and just be patient. Because
And
he
also
is
too,
extremely young. Don't forget.
now I think to flip it around, the Brock
Trey.
it boosts Brock Purdy's ADP a little bit because now we kind of know what that picture looks like.
Trey, what's up, Trey? Finished my redraft the other night. Care to rate the squad? Yeah, bro. Throw it in there. And just let us know the details. What is it? One QB. How many starters is it? And
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, throw it out there. Elias, same thing, bro. Yeah, throw it in the chat. Let's see what y'all have been doing lately.
Ooh, speaking of Dak Prescott, he goes at the 9-11. That is really good value for Dak there.
Yeah.
I was looking at
Daniel
some
Jones is still there. Two is still there. There's still some really good,
A Rich, who could be one of those kind of RG3 kind of rookie sensation type guys. Geno's a good value. I think Kenny Pickett's still a good value. Goff, tremendous value at this stage of the game.
Yeah. I'm glad that I've got my top guy kind of locked up. I know at worst he's going to be like top 8, like he was last year. So I'm okay, bro. I'm digging the squad so far that I have. Let's see what we do with the rest of these pick here. But
I'm taking one of your supernovas. Let's go.
So who'd you take? Oh, fuck you, bro. I was fucking praying that he was making a track. He was 2 picks away. Fuck you.
Let's go.
Bastard, bro.
We're supernova in this bitch. Let's go.
Fucking fuck you, dog.
Oh, that was an easy pick. That was pretty easy.
It was an easy pick. It's bullshit. Fuck. Superflex into premiums. 2 of 12. Okay.
Also, really quick before you get into some more of these trades, are you looking, especially for our viewers out there, if you have some of these running backs, are you looking at handcuffs at any point? Are you worried about that?
Yes and no. I mean, sometimes it's more valuable to have not your handcuff. Because some of these guys, somebody's going to get hurt, right? So you're going to have a
somebody else's handcuff,
play or trade. Right? So, oh man, this is.
I'll trade you Elijah Moore. We can talk about it after.
Shut up. Just shut up, Hammer. Just shut up. Okay. I am going to take I don't know.
Pressure's on.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, you do. Make the pick.
We got a couple guys. We're taking sharps. Fuck it.
Hey, but that's not a bad pick.
Wasn't gonna take an RB, but I figured fuck it. There's a bunch of wide receivers that I'm like decently okay with taking on my next pick. So I'm like, I'll just take whoever's left. But I don't know if Sharps will still be there. So
I don't mind.
check out Trey. Let's check out Trey's team real quick while I'm concentrating.
Hold on, because I have my pick coming up. Oh no, you have it. You have another pick coming up. You're right. Slow down, Sparky. All right, quarterbacks. Lamar. I like that. I don't love it just because his injury history has been a little weird, but he's got the bag. He's got the weapons. We've chronicled Lamar over the last, couple of months. Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson sold. Running backs Ramondre and Javonte. All right, little uncertainty, especially with Javonte early in the season. Flex Waddle. Jesus, he knocked it out of the park with his wide receivers.
Ooh,
and you know what?
Pick. Okay. I guess that makes my pick kind of easier. I am going to. I'm gonna go with somebody here because I'm gonna go with my boy Rashard Bateman. I don't know if OBJ is gonna make it through the whole season.
We don't know if Rashard Bateman is gonna make it through the whole season.
We don't know if Rashard Bateman will make it through the whole season either, but
you take the younger guy. Yeah.
I'll take the upside in that offense for right now.
So really quick, just to go over Trey's team before I'm on the clock, which is pretty quick. Flex is Waddle, tight end Ingram. I love that. James Cook, Rachaad White, Michael Pittman, Sky Moore, Rashad Penny, and Elijah Moore. So I actually do like that the more I look at it because you can play James Cook out of the box in place of Javonte. We don't really know what Javonte's workload is going to look like at the beginning of the season. Rachaad White as well. Elijah Moore's really good. So, Steve, if you want to pick it up, I'm on the clock.
Yeah, I think I would probably rate this like an 8 out of 10. I mean, this is a pretty good squad. I like it. Lamar, Jamar, Garrett Wilson, Ramondre, Javonte, Waddle. You've got Ingram, you've got Cook off the bench, you've got White. So you've got a couple guys that I like there. So yeah. It's tough for me to give a 10 to anybody. It's got to be like fucking crazy, but yeah, that's a really good squad. I like it, Trey. Same type of league as Trey.
There's a couple of guys I'm looking at here.
Standard PPR 12, fourth pick, Mahomes.
Whoa, where is he? Oh, there he is.
Mahomes, JT Brees. Ooh, awesome. Deontay, DJ Moore. Okay. Checo. We'll see. Oh, yeah, I like the squad too, man.
Hold on, let me bring that screen up.
OBJ, Quentin Johnson, Elijah Mitchell, Gus Edwards. Okay.
So the only issue I have with this particular team is Deontay as your wide receiver 1. I think he's a wide receiver 2, like a mid wide receiver 2 to start the season. He definitely has high wide receiver 2, low wide receiver 1 upside. But since it is a low passing offense, going into the season, obviously anything can happen, season to season changes. But I think I would like a little more heavy on the wide receiver 1 as opposed to your running backs. Obviously, JT as your, running back, there's some issue there. We don't know what's going to happen. And Brees is coming off the injury. Kelsey as your tight end, I think kind of boosts because he's essentially a wide receiver 1 at tight end. So I think having Kelsey with Deontay and DJ Moore makes it a little bit easier to swallow. I love Quentin Johnston as my rookie of the year candidate because I think Keenan, and I've been saying this, I think Keenan and Mike Will are going to have some injuries, inconsistency. And I think Quentin Johnston by week 7 or 8, similar to JSN minus the injury, and Addison are those 3 kind of rookie wide receivers that you really want on your team going down the stretch run of the season.
Now, I know you were talking about the wide receivers, but since he does have Kelsey, if everything goes right and Deontay finishes as a wide receiver 2 and DJ Moore finishes as a wide receiver 2, and you've got Kelsey, that kind of makes up a little bit for the difference.
Agreed.
I don't love Checo, though, in the flex, but you do have Quentin Johnson, or you do have who else you have in there? Elijah Mitchell, Mingo, Gus Edwards, Roshan. I mean,
I was getting pretty thin down here.
Yeah, I think I like this team as well. So, did I give this team a grade? Did I say what I graded this team yet? Because I think I give it an 8 out of 10 as well. Same kind of thing. I mean, 10 out of 10 is rough to get out of me, but it's a good squad. I mean, you got Mahomes, you got JT, you got Brees. I like the Deontay DJ Moore. Hammer might not like it as much, but with Kelsey there, that's why I'm okay with that because I do think Deontay.
I agree. And when I saw Kelsey at tight end, it kind of made me feel better about the Deontay DJ Moore. Yeah. What'd you say?
Of course, you took Jaden Reed. You fuck.
That's my guy, bro. I'm loving me some Jaden Reed, and I think the Packers' offense as a whole is going to be really balanced. Like I think Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs.
Fuck.
Who?
KJ getting sniped over here out of a few. I mean, we're down late. So okay, just in case somebody gets hurt, and take Tyler Boyd. He's always decent.
I don't mind that. I looked at Tyler Boyd as well, but I just think that Jaden Reed has a little more upside.
No, I'm with you. I would have took Jaden Reed, but you took him, so.
There you go.
Warren, there goes Kincaid.
I think Kincaid could be especially really good value here. Those rookies, I just love them in the back half of drafts with upside. Really love those rookies in the back half of these redrafts with upside.
Elias, yeah, I'm always down for that, especially in redraft. 2-for-1s is like the way to go in order
swing
to get
for the fence.
Swing for the fence. Yep. You have some guys on the bench. There are people that do really like Isaiah Pacheco, so I think that you can, you can get something out of him. So yeah, I would definitely do that if you could. That would definitely be a good idea. Who do I have in mind? Who was on your team here? Ben Johnson. Let me pull up wide receivers.
Oh, also, really quick, anybody out there who's looking to get in a Dynasty startup, we still have some spots in our Dynasty startup, our second league. If anybody's interested, send Steve an email or shoot him a DM on Instagram if you guys want to get in. $100 buy-in, first 2 years up front. We're looking for some more people to fill up that league.
to see who I'm going to pick here. Slim pickings at this point.
And what's crazy is the quarterback position is so deep, you could still get Goff, Murray. You could still get A. Rich, like at this spot.
What's it going to be?
And there goes A. Rich, right on cue. Where's he looking? Where's the Schwami looking? Trust in Schwami. Where is the Schwami looking?
There's one wide receiver that I still like, but there's a running back that I like more.
There it is. I do like Tank Bigsby. I picked him up in our home league startup. I do like Tank Bigsby. There goes A-Chain to Judy. We know Bagala loves him some A-Chain. Singletary. Gino.
Give me the guy on the good offense.
Yep.
Expect them to take a step up.
Yep.
My bad. Let me see. Who should we tell him to try and trade for? I would any wide receiver 2, I would say. So I would look and see who needs a running back and then kind of take it that way instead of going after a specific player. Who could use a running back? That you think might want to take that trade. So it could be any kind of RB2 like that I'd be okay with. If you want to go up higher, like if you want to trade Deontay Johnson and Pacheco and get like a wide receiver 1, I mean, you can try and do that too. See if you could possibly, I don't know if you can get into these, the Amon-Ra, Waddle.
I was going to say Waddle, maybe T. Higgins.
Amari Cooper. Who else we got here? Christian Kirk, Brandon Ayuk, Terry McLaurin, Lockett, DK, Higgins, you mentioned. Any of those kind of guys. I would just look a lot better and probably feel a lot better than having a Pacheco in the flex. Right?
Yeah, I would agree. You like those wide receivers just because it's a passing league. We like how, especially you could get a secondary wide receiver on a really good offense and feel good about it. Like you said, a Lockett, a DK. DK is the primary, but we'll see what happens when JSN comes back. Waddle might be a stretch. T. Higgins might be a stretch. But yeah, listen, shoot for the stars, and at least you're engaged with these people in conversation. Then you could kind of work your way back if you need to.
Yeah, like I said, any wide receiver 2 will be fine in that flex. Especially since you got Kelsey to kind of make up. So if you've got 3 wide receiver 2s in your wide receiver spots in your flex spot, like that's fine if you've got Kelsey.
Agreed.
So you don't necessarily have to go get a wide receiver 1. It's nice to, but go shop around, see what's out there. You took Mingo, okay, like that.
So at this position in the draft, listen, these guys are starting off on your bench, and I like, especially in redraft, you kind of like those veteran guys or guys that are, you think might have a breakout, but on your bench in the 13th round of 18, 14th round of 18, you want to take some of those rookie younger guys that could potentially break out. Amon-Ra St. Brown comes to mind a couple of years ago where he was basically on the waiver wire for, the first half of the season, and then you pick him up. And I think Blanc, he took you, I think you were in the championship that year. That year you picked him up his rookie year. So you kind of want to take some of those rookie younger guys in the back half of your redraft leagues that have some upside, especially down the stretch, especially those rookie wide receivers that tend to bust out in the second half of these seasons.
Yeah, and you always your team changes so much during the season, right? You're picking up, you're dropping guys. It changes a ton, right? A lot of times late in drafts, we take these wide receivers that just are never going to see your lineup, and we just hope and pray that they, turn into something, right? But I was talking about this the other day with Bola. Wouldn't you think it would be more beneficial? Because any of those guys that's on your bench, those wide receivers that you're getting late, what's the difference between playing them and any guy that you pick up off of waivers, right? So wouldn't it be more beneficial to stack, your bench with a bunch of running backs rather than take these chances on these wide receivers that you're going to be dropping, anyway? Because somebody's going to get hurt somewhere, and one of these running backs are going to be valuable at some point, in the season, whether they're a league winner, whether they give you some, ammunition to trade at a certain point. So, for me, I'm just like, don't stack your bench with wide receivers. Stack your bench with running backs.
I kind of balance it out a little bit more, but the theory makes sense. And I'm going to go with a running back. I was actually looking at Gus Edwards just because
I couldn't have waited fucking 30 seconds to talk about that point. Did you just change to Kendre Miller? Like,
no, I picked Kendre straight up.
fuck you, bro. I was about to take him.
But yeah, no, the point is duly noted. I like to balance it out. I kind of go running back, wide receiver, mix and match on my bench. But we talk about this even in our dynasty leagues where running back tends to obviously be in more flux than wide receiver just because of the nature of the position, the abuse these guys take between the tackles. So, like you said, load up on those RB2s on specific teams. And, you're basically an injury away from found gold.
Mm-hmm. Gotta check Jerome Ford here.
He just got traded.
Where'd he get traded to?
He literally just got traded, I think, today.
Did he?
Yep.
I missed that. Oh, I think I did see that. Where'd he get traded to?
I'll tell you right
Still
now.
says he's on Cleveland on here.
Oh, no. I lied. The Patriots traded Pierre Strong to the Browns.
To the Browns. That's right.
What does that mean for Jerome Ford?
Well, they got nobody else after Jerome Ford, so it could be just backup. I mean, it's a last minute thing, so Brees doesn't get hurt. I won my league last year and Cup too. Yeah, well, injuries happen. My bad. Same guy as Rashard White as RB2. He has Jefferson, Higgins, and D Hop as his receiver. Yeah, try and get Higgins. Perfect. Exactly. That's how you attack it. Find the team that could use the running back and attack it that way. So, yeah, go try and get Higgins. RB's getting fucking thin down here. Okay, I know I can take him. Missed out on Chase Claypool went after that. Zay Jones went after I took Ford. Damian Harris, Hunter Renfrow, Sam Laporta. That's a really good late tight end pick.
I love that pick, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Sam Laporta has a chance to be in the back end of the tight end one spot going down the stretch. I think he could really push top 12.
So I'm gonna take another guy here who I have a ton of, just because there's nobody else there, and because Connor is old and gets injured. Give me some Keontae Ingram. Take him on the bench. We've got 3 rounds left? Yep. Seki. Oh, I am. I'm liking the squad so far. Where's Hammer's team at? Burrow, Bijan. Oh, you got my boy Gibby in the RB2 slot. Hammer's been listening. Oh shit!
I really like this guy. Where is he? Fuck, I lost him in the shuffle.
AJ Amari, London. I like it, bro. Cooks, Pickens, and Elijah Moore. You got my boy Elijah Moore. You
There
bastard.
he is. I like this guy a lot. Tank Dell has been.
Oh god.
I think Tank Dell is really due for a nice season, especially coming down the stretch. Injuries, like I said, and with the two flexes, I think that wide receiver spot is so much more critical in this particular league because there are two flex positions.
Yeah.
So I like Tank Dell there coming down the stretch. I'm a little thin at running back, but I think I'll be all right.
Did not go by like fantasy points on the defense. Like what's happening here? Just have the ranking up there. Rounds left. We're set.
Please, people in redraft, do not pick kicker or defense until the last 2 or 3 rounds. Please, please, please. I'm asking you. Don't upset me. I don't get upset very often. I only get upset when people trade Jamar Chase and Justin Herbert in Dynasty, and I get upset when people take kickers and defense in a redraft in the first, whatever. Somebody picked a kicker in round 8. Don't do that. Don't upset me. Oh, and I'm on the clock. Oh, damn. I'm talking my shit, and I almost missed my pick, but I took Alec Pierce.
Okay.
I didn't even realize my pick was on me.
You get a defense here. You still got one more bench spot, but I'm okay with like I could take anybody there. So, or Jalen Hyatt.
Of course, guess who? Bogala, fucking Homer.
Ravens or Eagles?
Also, look at the division. I think the division matters.
Yes, I know. I guess. I mean, Ravens been top 10 last few years. Eagles have been fire. I think they got a tougher schedule this year too, but let's go Eagles. Fuck it. Let's go Eagles. All right. 2 more picks. 2 more picks.
I do like redraft drafts as well because they go pretty quickly. I know in our subscriber league, it took like 2 weeks to do the draft because we did have people from all over the globe, not even the country, the globe. But I do like the redraft aspect in terms of, you get your team in, your team is locked in, minute and a half per pick.
Well, it's hard to get everybody together in the dynasty because everybody's on different time zones and
Yeah, no, I agree.
to the world, which is rough. That's the other part we got to think about too is get it done
Agreed.
quick.
Definitely agree.
We have to start it like ASAP. Should we make it only like $50 this one?
What happened?
Should we make it only like $50 this one? I don't know. It might be tough to get everybody on board with the
I'm actually okay.
up front. I mean, yeah, I'm okay, but filling it up is going to be Give me. Better offense this year. Give me your boy Young Hoku.
I don't think that's how it's pronounced, but okay, we'll go with Young Ho.
That's what it says.
It's Young Wei, by the way.
No, it says Young Ho, bro.
Fucking American.
Young Ho cool. Young Ho's cool.
All right. Do I go
And
defense?
the fact that he does play indoors is another kind of little plus.
No arguments there. And to kind of piggyback that, I'm gonna go with, I don't know. The indoor thing is a big deal. I'm not gonna lie, or fair weather. So I'm gonna go with Dicker because he plays in LA. He plays in a lot of good weather for the most part. 8 games in LA plus West Coast is better weather. So yeah, Cameron Dicker, good offense.
We got one more round here.
Yes, sir.
Running back, am I taking? Oh, somebody take Chuba. Okay.
Yeah, this draft only took probably take an hour, 10 hour ish. I think mine was like an hour 15, which I like, and then we could kind of like review the teams a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. All right. On to Kyron, Pickett, Stafford. I'm one to typically like not carry an extra quarterback or a tight end.
Not in one QBs, no. Because look at the QBs still on the board. Oh, I can't even see them, but they're still starting in a 1 QB league with 12 teams. Do not take a second quarterback. You don't need to do that.
No, and we, with the warp thing, we went over that in the show as well. I mean, there's just no point.
Yes, sir.
Between starting that guy that you have on your bench and just picking up somebody off the waiver wire that week, I mean.
All right. What defense am I going? Am I going Commanders? Might go Commanders. Panthers. I have Panthers. Bucks. Titans, maybe. Titans always have a good defense. Pretty bad. Not the greatest division. It is the Titans. Hell of a draft.
Yep. One more pick to go. Taking my boy Latavius, as long as nobody takes him here.
Fucking guy loves it.
Damian Harris can't stay healthy. You've got James Cook there. You've got a great offense. Yeah, give me some Latavius.
There it is. Nice and easy.
Latavius. All right. I like it. Let's look at some of these squads here. In Sean We Trust, that is Phil, I think, right?
I'm not sure. Shane. Yeah, that's the Giants. Joe Shane.
Yeah, so we got Fields with Taylor and Stevenson.
Okay.
Then he got Jefferson, Olave, Quentin Johnson.
I like that a lot.
Schultz, Akers, Javante. That was a good late pick. You got Javante, Brian Robinson, Penny Dubes, Mims, Renfro, Laporta, Hodgins on the bench there. Not too bad.
That wide receiver trio is really good and good upside with Fields.
Yeah, I mean JJ Olave, I like that.
And Quentin Johnson's my rookie of the year. candidate.
Yeah.
Well, does the Jonathan Taylor thing scare you as far as his ADP is concerned?
No, because I think he's got till what Tuesday to get traded, so we'll see what happens. But
He's picking a kicker. He has to pick
we
a
shall
kicker
see.
here.
But yeah, not a bad squad. I mean, the flexes is like okay. You'll have Javante Akers for now. I mean, he's got to do his thing. We'll see how good he does. Quentin Johnson. We'll see how involved he is.
He's got B.
Early
Rob lurking there.
got B Rob. All right, not too
Dubes.
bad. Let's look at
Dubes.
Geno Country. Let's ride. That's chicken, I believe, right?
I think is it.
So yeah, so he got Tua really late.
That's good value. CMC.
CMC, Pierce. He loves him some Pierce. Metcalf, Higgins, and McLaurin. Mike Williams, Zay Flowers. Okay. All right, come on, man. Oh, that's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah, we'll look at that after. Dylan Lazard, Mostert, Jameson, Peoples Jones, Golf, Harris. Okay. Not too bad either. This is Nicole's team with Hertz, Eckler, Jacobs, Hopkins, Godwin, Ayuk, Joku, Madison, Jigba.
Hertz Eckler is going to have to carry it. Those wide receivers are a little shaky to me. Hopkins as your first wide receiver. I don't think he's going to be there, but Godwin, Ayuk, JSN's not going to play for a bit.
Yeah, we'll see. What did you think about Chicken Squad?
Go back to it.
I'm on it right now. Yeah, Tua, CMC, Pierce, Metcalf, Higgins, McLaurin, Go Dirt, Mike Williams, Zay Flowers.
It's decent. I like it. I think the fact that he got Tua so late was really good value there. So I think you're able to kind of get, stabilize the rest of your team. It's a solid squad. I don't mind it at all. And especially the fact that he got Tua, who is a QB1 upside guy if he stays healthy. So, CMC, we know Metcalf is going to be good in the touchdown department. T. Higgins. I love T. Higgins. I just, I think it's one of those things where it's, that his situation just holds him back from being that true elite wide receiver 1 in fantasy, but still going to be damn good. And then if Terry McLaurin's your wide receiver 3, you got to feel good about that. So I like that.
About that team, I guess we'll talk about mine and your team last. Let's check out Judge Judy, which is Bagala. Got Lamar, Cook, and Pacheco totally just abandoned the RB position.
Which I'm good with.
Yep, Cheetah, St. Brown, Debo, Sutton with Waller and Herbert, Nico Khan, Nico on the bench, A-Chain.
If I remember correctly, I think the only issue I had with this team is I think he reached for Darren Waller a little earlier than I would have liked. And because he's a Giants fan, he reached for Waller a little early, which could be a mistake. But if you got Cheetah with Amon-Ra, with Lamar, that's a really high upside team. That's a nice team. I just think reaching for Darren Waller where he did, when he could have got a more valuable asset, especially if you look at the warp where those tight ends are after we talked about the top 3, he could have got a better value at that pick. But other than that, I like the team.
To be fair, I do have to say that if Waller does stay healthy, he does have a chance to be a top 3 tight end.
That's a big if, though, no?
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying if he's not. But and one thing that kind of stands out to me here, because you spoke about it earlier, was the bye weeks. I look at this week 13, Lamar, Cook, Waller, Herbert, Giants. I guess Herbert doesn't matter.
You could stream that.
It's not that big of a deal for those 2 guys. But I guess Waller, Cook, and Lamar, 3 kind of guys you might be relying on.
Herbert,
especially down the stretch.
Yeah.
So, I'm wasting my money no more. I think that's
your mom. That's your mom.
Goes with Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Singletary, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson. That's not a bad trio. Ingram, Judy. Okay. Marquise Brown. Okay.
I will say this about about your mom and my aunt. Obviously, for people out there that don't know, we're related. Our mothers are sisters. So this if Judy was healthy, I would really, really like this team a lot more. I think that's one thing, because Judy's probably not going to play for a month, maybe a month and a half. We don't really know what the MRI on the hamstring looks like.
They said a few weeks. They said it's a few weeks. It's not bad. It's not one where he requires a ton of time. So,
but hamstrings are tricky, right? Like, you can come back 1 week and be out another 4 weeks after that. So hamstrings are really tricky. That is a muscle. So you just never know when that'll heal itself up. But listen, if you got Josh Allen on your team, you got a chance. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, Judy's at wide receiver 4 basically. So
yeah.
that's a nice spot to have.
Henry is perfect for redraft in the spot that she got him. Because I think Henry is still in line for a top 5 RB season as long as he stays healthy. Now he's getting a little bit older. And we've seen some of those injuries kind of catch up with him, but the trio of receivers is nice. The only problem I have with this team, not the only, but she's got a bunch of wide receivers too. I know Devonta Smith is technically, he's probably a fantasy wide receiver 1, low end. But I would have liked another kind of top wide receiver 1. But if you got 3 wide receiver 2s with a Josh Allen,
almost 5. You could say almost Judy 5 wide receiver 2s, because you got Judy around, and if all those guys are wide receiver 2s, and
you can live
Josh
with
Allen's at the top, like you've got an advantage, because don't forget there's more flexes, right? Because some people have RB4s in their flex, some people have wide receiver 5, 4s in their flex, and if you got wide receiver 2s, you are still
I agree.
In the game there. So
I would agree.
But yeah, I really like that squad. You suffer a little bit at the RB2 at the RB2 spot.
But you can make that up.
It doesn't look like you really have any RB2s on the bench either. So that could be yeah.
But you can make up an RB2 on the waivers at any point, honestly.
At Pagan's team life, we got Kirk Cousins, Mixon, Aaron Jones, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Thomas, Treylon Burks, Kelsey, Breece Hall, bunch of running backs there. Daniel Jones. Okay. You think about this?
This team is solid. CeeDee Lamb stands out to me, and I think Joe Mixon's being undervalued here. There's really not a ton to threaten him. He's not super efficient. We've talked about Joe Mixon, decently, but I think his ADP has been dropping so much that he becomes a really good value because I think he's in line for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns, just because of that offense that he plays on. So I think that's fine, especially for redraft. And he's got Kelsey, so that makes up for the lack of depth behind CeeDee Lamb. Breece Hall, I really love Breece Hall, especially if he's in your flex. I think Aaron Jones is perfect at the RB2 spot on this team. I think also too, Kirk Cousins is a little undervalued just in terms of we don't think of him in the Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Lamar, even throw T-Law in there. We don't think of him, but he's going to put up those numbers, especially with the weapons that he has at his disposal. So I think Kirk Cousins is really good with this team. His depth at the wide receiver position worries me a little bit, and I don't think he should have took Daniel Jones because Kirk Cousins doesn't get hurt. So I don't think having picking up Daniel Jones in this particular draft was a good pick. I think he could have had somebody else to kind of bolster his wide receiver core. But it's a solid team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I worry a little bit just about the wide receivers. I mean, Thomas and Burks. I mean,
right.
Like after you went Kelsey and CeeDee Lamb, like probably should have went wide receiver, or even after Mixon instead of Jones, maybe. Instead of Breece, maybe, because I think he took Breece a little early, if I remember.
So realistically, when Breece Hall does come back for this particular team, I would kind of look to move off Aaron Jones maybe and try and flip that into a wide receiver if possible. If a quarterback gets hurt, maybe try and flip Daniel Jones. It's going to be harder in a one quarter, and he's got Geno Smith as well. So that's too many quarterbacks in a one quarterback league.
Let's get to EQHO here. How you doing, man? Appreciate you stopping in. Thoughts: 12-man half PPR. Herbert, Barkley, Pollard, Ridley, Pittman, Waller, Kamara. Bench: Herbert, Godwin, Elijah Moore, Sky Moore, Bigsby, Laporta. I was pick 12. So if you were pick 12,
Back
you
end, so you had the
you
double
went
barrel.
with Barkley, Pollard, I think, right?
Yeah, and a one quarterback. Or Barkley Ridley, maybe.
No, there's no way. Be Barkley, Pollard. I probably would have waited to get Pollard, but it's not a bad pick at all because he could absolutely smash there. I mean, you got my guy Ridley. I love me some Ridley. Pittman's okay. He's more like a back end
Three, high end three.
wide receiver three. Waller is a good pick. I like Waller. He just has to stay healthy, and he never really has been able to. So that's it's worrisome, but we can never predict injuries. But Herbert, you got Godwin, Elijah Moore, Sky Moore. Those are some guys that I do like. I don't
Bigsby,
know.
Laporta.
Yep, Bigsby, Laporta. So yeah, what do you think, Hammer?
That's a really good bench, and I think that your starting lineup is a little. There's some question marks there, but I think the fact that you have a really good bench, like we don't see a ton of like good benches in a 12-man. So Khalil Herbert can easily fill in for Pollard early on in the season, depending on how much if Pollard's healthy enough to play. Chris Godwin can slide in there over Pittman, just because I think Godwin is probably in a better situation than Pittman right now. I know it's not the best, but Elijah Moore, really, Sky Moore, right, your boy. So Bigsby, I think, can be effective, and I really love Sam Laporta in that Detroit offense. With no real competition behind him, and Jameson Williams out for the first 6 weeks. So I don't love it from a starting lineup standpoint, but I love it that you have tremendous value on your bench.
We got some things to work with. So can we trade, Pittman and Godwin, or Pittman and Elijah Moore, or Pittman and Sky Moore? Can we tier up, from Pittman? I would see kind of who needs, an extra wide receiver, and see if you can kind of give him the old 2-for-1, and try and tier up a little bit. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think something you brought up was really interesting, especially in redraft, with the 2-for-1s. When you're in redraft, you kind of want to swing for the fences, get those top end guys. Not to say give up whatever, but reach a little bit, because it's a 1-year deal, it's a one-shot deal. Dynasty, obviously, you want to be a little more measured, but for redraft, I think it's really important to kind of package those 2-for-1s and get those guys and figure everything else out later. There's a ton of guys that come off waivers. There's a ton of guys that, might be on your bench that kind of evolve down the stretch. So I think that was something really important that you said, that a lot of people don't, might not carry over from Dynasty into redraft in terms of giving up those 2-for-1s. Fuck it, 3-for-1 if you have to really land that home run threat.
He says it right here, exactly what I pointed out. I believe my biggest mistake was drafting Pollard instead of Amon-Ra or Garrett Wilson. Exactly what 100%. I said. Perfectly put. But you live and you learn, right? So, don't make that mistake on the next one. Don't make that mistake next year, right? When you can get one of those top 5 potential wide receivers, that's big, especially that you went Saquon, you got a running back, so you might as well try and get that wide receiver. Because as you see, your wide receivers they're good, but they're not great. But I think it would have looked a lot better with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Calvin Ridley, and then you've got Pittman in the flex, or even Kamara in the flex.
Yep.
You wound up getting Kamara anyway, so all you got to do is fill the spots until he's ready to come back, really, almost also. So, you could have punted a little bit on the running back after you took Barkley, kind of went with that hero, and then went back to it afterwards.
So also really quick, especially in redraft, I tend to punt on running back. After I take my first running back, I try to get one in the first maybe 3 rounds, and then I kind of punt on it for a while, and just round 7, 8, 9 maybe if I can, because there's so much more value in those other positions. Obviously, it depends on the format, but that RB2 spot is so interchangeable to me anyway. And I've started to kind of adopt that philosophy. I know Blanc does a lot, especially with the running backs. You know, if there's a guy that you have to take there that you just love, then so be it. But I'm so with punting on especially that RB2 spot. I'm good. I'll take.
Even with me here, remember I think I took Monty because it was just like for me it was like a clear tier break after that, and I was like, all right, let me take this guy with some upside that I like instead of wait. So there's times you can pick your spots and go after that RB2, and look, you wound up getting Kamara really late, so that was good. All right, let's get back to these teams here. We just went over lives. Let's go over Dak is yours. We'll go over yours after. Gangrene Monsters, which was my pops. We've got Rodgers, Saquon, Najee, Garrett Wilson, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Cole Kmet, Alvin Kamara, Tyler Lockett. Okay, shit.
That's nice. Jets defense. That's pretty good.
Tony, Russell Wilson. Wow, okay. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good squad there. You think?
I like it. He probably got Aaron Rodgers at a pretty good value. He's a Jets fan, so let's just kind of throw that out there. So, doesn't surprise me that he has Aaron Rodgers in the Jets defense, but really good picks though, really good value. I think there's going to be some tremendous, and he's got Garrett, so he's got the stack with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. I think this is a potential league finalist in my eyes, just really early on looking at it. Really good at the running back position. I think Najee Harris is a good, tremendous RB2. Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, I'm okay with that. They both have week 5 buys, so you might get a little, and your flex Tyler Lockett has a week 5 buy, so you might run into a little bit of trouble there. But yeah, overall, really good team. You got top end talent at pretty much each position. Cole Kmet, I'm really good with at the tight end spot. I think he's developed a nice rapport with Justin Fields. We don't have to worry about his touchdown production. I think it's pretty stable in the 5 to 6 touchdowns per year. So yeah, this is a really good team.
And Cole Kmet, you can get incredibly late, and he's going to be a top 8 guy. Like he's going to be in that 5 to 10 range, So it's not going to be nothing crazy. He's not going to finish top 5, but he's a decent guy that you can get just really late.
Good production.
Last question we got here from Key. Last question: who do you think does better this year in fantasy, Burrow or Herbert?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'll let you go first, Hammer. Go ahead.
That's a fantastic question. You kind of know how all of y'all out there know how I feel about Joe Burrow, but I think it's Joe Burrow from a consistency standpoint, just because he has Chase, he has T. Higgins, he's got Mixon back. Tyler Boyd is probably the best third wide receiver in the league. I think Justin Herbert is probably a little bit of a better athlete. But I think it's Joe Burrow just because for Justin Herbert, I think his positional players are in a little bit of a flux, right? We have Keenan Allen, who's getting pretty long in the tooth, and has been getting banged up, the last couple of years. Mike Williams, injury and inconsistency have kind of really marred his career, and that's why they took Quentin Johnston, who I think is going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. And then Austin Eckler is really good. But there's a lot of flux with the Chargers right now outside of Justin Herbert. So I think from that standpoint alone, I just love me some Joe Burrow. I think he's just the more consistent player right now because we know what his pieces are. There's really not a lot of question marks with what his pieces are. And don't forget, the Cincinnati Bengals have done a really good job the last year or two investing in that offensive line to kind of keep him upright. So I'll go with Joe Burrow, but you can't argue with the two. If you have either one of those two on your team in redraft or dynasty, you come out of the draft feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're just very similar. They're both going to throw, 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. I think they both have those capabilities. So, it's just a matter of Herbert if his wide receivers stay healthy or not. So,
yep.
I think that as far as fantasy, I mean, I'll go with Burrow, but I think Herbert has the chance to kind of redeem himself this year and be right on par with Joe Burrow. Like I said, they're kind of even. If you want to talk about value in fantasy,
It's Herbert.
You can get Herbert later than you can Burrow. So, if you can't get Burrow, like you should be, very grateful to grab a guy like Herbert, especially in 6-point passing touchdown. So
Agreed.
that's, I think, what I'll say there. And appreciate you, Keith, for stopping in. Make sure smash that like button.
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe if you're not already. But appreciate you.
Really quick, Blanc. I think Eli had asked before. Elias asked about the subscriber league. I think he asked if it was a money league.
My bad.
He might be interested in joining.
It is a money league. We did 100 for our first Dynasty subscriber.
We could do 50 on this one.
I think 50 might be better just to kind of fill it up quick. So I'll put it out on Instagram and see if we can get it filled up. Did you wind up making the league safes for that yet?
No, not yet. I've been really busy this week. I'll do it first thing in the morning.
All right, make that. Let's look at Ron's team here with Mahomes, Gibbs, Kenny Walker, Kupp, Pittman, Juju, DeAndre Swift, Ertz, Gabe Davis, McKinnon, Higbee, Dolchich. He's got 3 defenses.
That's come on. And he picked a kicker in the 8th round.
Don't carry 3 defenses.
And don't carry 2 kickers.
Don't carry 2 kickers.
Don't carry 2 quarterbacks.
You don't need to. You don't need to. You don't need to.
Because defenses in this league, so I guess we'll start at the top before we get down.
Go ahead.
You love Mahomes on any team. That's just obvious. Cooper Kupp, I still think, especially for redraft purposes, is going to be fantastic. I do worry about if I don't think that Rams team will be very good. So it'll be interesting to see if he's with you down the stretch of the season. But behind Cooper Kupp, his running backs are pretty good with Gibbs and Walker. Any team that has Mahomes, you feel like you got a shot, but there are some shaky things about this team that I'm not crazy about, particularly picking a kicker in the 8th round and carrying 3 defenses, a couple of kickers, a couple of quarterbacks. I think he's going to be struggling for depth as the season goes along, because as we know, every season has its struggles where you got to waiver wire, you got to trade, you got to do some things. So he didn't leave himself much versatility, heading into the meat of the season.
Yeah, I like the Mahomes, Gibbs, Walker, Kupp. I mean, Pittman I'm okay with, but I mean, Juju, not bad at the wide receiver 3 spot there. The flexes, you got Swift and Gabe Davis. I mean, Zach Ertz, those are all questionable kind of guys there. I guess I'm okay with Swift in the flex, but
I don't have a problem with Swift there.
Even Davis, like, it's okay, but when you go up against some of these other teams, like we saw, that's got like wide receiver 1s all over, that's where you might lose a little bit of your advantage.
That's when you need Mahomes to go for 50.
Yeah, or you got Kupp that can go for crazy amount as well, but. All right, let's look at, I think this is Rondell's team here. Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, ETN, Devontae Kirk, Odell, George Kittle, Miles Sanders, Dalvin Cook, with Algier and Samuel, Gainwell on the bench.
Deshaun, good value. I think he picked up Deshaun pretty early. If I'm not mistaken.
He did. You take him early. Yep.
So I think I remember when we were drafting, it felt like a little bit of a reach at the spot he got him. I think it was like late first, early second in this particular format was a little bit of a reach. Chubb and ETN obviously is really good with Miles Sanders as your first flex. So he's heavily invested in his running backs. Devontae Adams, I think Devontae Adams' yardage will take a little bit of a dip, but I think his touchdowns and his catches will be stable enough where he's going to be wide receiver 8, wide receiver 9, somewhere in that range. So I'm good with that. Christian Kirk is one of those guys that really intrigues me from the standpoint of, with a true wide receiver 1 and Calvin Ridley in there, I think there's enough for that offense. So I think he's perfectly slotted in that wide receiver 2 spot. Odell is a big wild card there.
I agree with Kirk for sure. I like him in the wide receiver 2 spot. That's perfect.
I think Odell is a big wild card there because Odell, I think any given week, Odell can have a really nice week. But I just think the consistency, he's 30 years old now. He's had a ton of injuries piling up on his body. And they've got other weapons in Baltimore now where Odell's not going to be the guy every single down. And you have a running quarterback. So that's very interesting. Kittle, I love Kittle. I don't love him from weeks 1 through 8. But weeks 9 through the playoffs, I love me some George Kittle. And the fact that Brock Purdy is the quarterback now, I kind of like George Kittle even a little bit more because we know Purdy is going to be the quarterback. And when Purdy was a quarterback, George Kittle was going off on people. So I really do like that. So a decent team. I think there's a lot invested in the running back position, but still a pretty solid team overall.
Yeah, I like it, but like you, I'm a little worried about the Odell at wide receiver 3 for at least for the length of the season. Miles Sanders, I'm okay with. Dalvin Cook, I'm okay with for kind of the first half of the season, but he might be just an RB3 or a back end RB2, depending what happens with Brees
And the
because
flex 2 is okay.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's okay, but we're looking for the extraordinary. Like it's okay compared to but compared to some of the other squads with like some hammer wide receivers, like they have guys in the flex that are just as good, but
Yes,
have
sir.
some more hammer wide receivers. So that's kind of the way that I'm looking at it there. But Enrique, what's up, man? What are your thoughts on my 10-team PPR league? Cup, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Mixon, Lawrence, Waller, Connor, Judy, Addison, Dotson, McKinnon, Dubes, and Kincaid. I'll let you take this away, Hammer.
All right. So, Cup, who's ARSB?
Amon-Ra St. Brown, or the sun god himself.
Okay. Cup, Amon-Ra, that's fantastic. That's really good. Jahmyr Gibbs, fantastic with Mixon. Trevor Lawrence, sold on. Waller, Connor, Judy, Addison, Dubes, Kincaid. Yeah, this is a solid team. I love Lawrence with Cup and Amon-Ra. Gibbs and Mixon is a really good 1-2 punch. And then you got Connor, Judy, Addison for your flexes, depending on the format.
Mm-hmm.
Dotson, I'm good with on your bench. McKinnon as well. Dubes, Kincaid. Yeah, I'm pretty good with this team. Yeah, I don't think you have a ton of holes in your starting lineup, honestly. Judy, obviously, with the injury. Connor kind of could break down a little bit, but then you got Addison. You got Dotson. I think McKinnon could be a sneaky kind of flex play, which he was down the stretch. He brought some teams to the championship last year with what he was doing down the stretch.
Yeah.
Dubes, and then you got good upside. If Waller gets hurt, you got Kincaid right there to plug in. Yeah. So I'm good with that as well. Solid team.
So it is a 10 team. Don't forget, right? So I mean, yeah, I'm with you. It is a solid team, but can we do some of the same things we were talking about before, right? Can we upgrade for that flex spot, right? We've got Connor, we got Judy, Addison, Dotson on the bench, right? I mean, can we trade a combination of Judy, Dotson, Addison, Dotson, Judy, Dotson, whatever, Addison, Judy, and to tier up into a more solid level, maybe even low end wide receiver 1 type?
Devonta Smith would look real good in there.
Yeah, Devonta Smith would be okay. I mean, we keep bringing up. I know we keep bringing up T. Higgins, Mari Cooper. Anybody of that nature, really. DJ Moore, even. Olave. I mean, see in your league, I mean, who kind of needs who needs the depth or something like that at wide receiver? Somebody maybe went heavy RB, right? And you can maybe take advantage and give them that little 2-for-1. Any other ideas?
No, that's I mean, especially in a more shallow league, like you said, you want to get top end talent. So even if you're giving up 2-for-1, 3-for-2, you want to do that. That's okay. So I'm good with that. Giving up 2 for 1, 3 for 2 to kind of vault the tier up, like you say.
Yeah. Or can you take away the risk in Waller and go get like a TJ Hawkinson or an Andrews for like a Waller Connor or a Waller Dotson, Waller Judy, Waller Addison, whatever? Just another little idea. I don't know how high you are on Waller Santos, but yeah. Appreciate you stopping in. Make sure to smash that like, smash that subscribe for us if you're new. Come by anytime. All right, let's get to the next. Ray, as this is Justine's team, we've got Trevor Lawrence, Tony Pollard, Rashard White, Diggs, Watson, Dotson, Andrews, and Kyle Pitts. So, okay, she got 2 tight ends, DJ Shark. And, we just had this warp show where we kind of really highlighted the tight ends and talked about the tight end position. I don't know if you saw that in full, Hammer. Did you watch that?
I didn't watch the complete show.
Yeah. lot of information, but you're never going to want to flex a tight end in this format. There's no tight end premium. I mean, unless Kyle Pitts turns into Travis Kelce this year, it's not really going to be an advantage to put him in the flex.
On not the greatest passing offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I wouldn't have a problem with this if Atlanta went out and got, a solid, stable quarterback. Like if Atlanta went out and got Jimmy Garoppolo, I wouldn't mind it because I know he'll get him the ball. He'll, especially on those intermediate routes, those short to intermediate routes, I think. And it also said, as you mentioned, the tight end premium. If it was a tight end premium 1.5, this would be a perfect situation. But I will say that I think Kyle Pitts still holds some value in a shallow position. So he's an asset, right? So you can always go out and move because you have Andrews. You can move Kyle Pitts and go get yourself, which I think this team needs, is a more stable wide receiver too. I don't think Christian Watson going into the season, you feel good with him as your wide receiver 2. I have him on my Dynasty team, and he's going in as my wide receiver 3, which I feel more comfortable about. Does he have wide receiver 2 upside? I believe so. But you want him in your 3rd wide receiver position going into the season.
Yeah, I'm with that. But yeah, I think you're right with the Pitts and Andrews. Maybe Pitts has his shit together. He's doing decently well, and maybe you trade Andrews. Maybe Andrews has the value for you to trade and go up and get a wide receiver that you need.
Yep. Either one. He's still a value though, so it's not like you can't move either one of those guys.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think you need to move it for a wide receiver.
Let's go to my team here. We've got Herbert, Dobbins, and Monty to go along with Chase, Waddle, and Ridley. TJ Hawk, Addison, Sky Moore, Charbs on the bench, Bateman, Boyd, Bigsby, a bunch of backup RBs. But yeah, I didn't really know what to expect coming in. I wasn't sure. I really wanted either JJ or Chase. I didn't know if Chase was going to make it to me. Well, they wound up taking running backs before me, so I was able to get Chase. So I was happy about that. And then I think I wound up taking Waddle, I think the next pick, and then Ridley. So it was just kind of depending who was on the board there. I saw that there were still some good running backs. I could probably wait a little bit. So decided to just kind of beef up that wide receiver core. I mean, if everything goes right, which most of the time shit don't. But if everything goes right, I've got 3 wide receiver 1s. And then wound up getting Dobbins really late, grabbed Monty, wound up taking Hawkinson because he was still available and said, fuck it, let me get that little bit of advantage there at the tight end position. I could have went wide receiver, but instead said, fuck it, let me get a tight end here. Hopefully Addison can be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Same thing with Sky Moore. Because even if they're wide receiver 3s, I'm still in good position with the wide receivers I do have already, if everything goes accordingly, of course. But yeah, that was kind of the thought process. Herbert was like the last QB that was left that I felt like could be, a top 5 guy. And like we talked about, 5,000 yards, 40 tutty kind of season. So, you wound up taking Burrow, which I was aiming for. And I said, fuck it, I'll just take Herbert because I felt like there was kind of a little drop off after that. But Yeah. What do you think of my squad, Hammer?
No, I think this team definitely finishes in last, and I'm pretty much nah, but seriously, listen, when you can stack Chase, Waddle, and Ridley, um, I think being able to kind of stack those type of high end wide receivers is very important because wide receivers, while they do get hurt, they're they're less risk avert or more risk avert. I'm stumbling here, but you know what I mean.
Oh,
There's less of a chance that they get hurt, and they're more bankable than running backs. You know, even top running backs, right? They still get hurt. So at a higher clip. So, you know, when you're able to stack those three guys, you can mix and match those running backs, right? We've seen, you know, running backs come off the scrap heap, as I talked about previously with some of the other teams. And then you lock in the quarterback, Justin Herbert. You think, you know, the yardage will always be there for him. I think it's especially with his wide receiver core, it's going to be about the touchdowns for him. He's always going to be pushing 5,000 yards. If he's anywhere north of 35 touchdowns, then you're in really good shape. And then, like you said, having Hawkinson as your tight end, you pretty much lock in that top three advantage. You know, Andrews, Kelsey, Hawkinson. You know,
yeah.
maybe Kyle Pitts sneaks in there.
That's what I'm feeling. I feel like if I'm beating if I have the advantage of about 7 other teams or so with Justin Herbert, I have the advantage of, 8, 9 other teams with TJ Hawkinson. I have the advantage over a lot of the teams at my 3 wide receiver positions. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm, almost winning a lot of those positions, RBs. I mean, JK's got to do his thing, of course. Monty on a good offense. We saw what Jamal Williams did. Now I'm not expecting him to score,
Just be
17
solid.
touchdowns, but
Yep.
he's going to be solid. And if Gibbs gets hurt, I have some. I got Charb up here, so some other backup RBs in case guys get hurt. Bateman and Boyd on the bench, and I'm feeling pretty solid because I feel like I've got advantage at a few positions. That gives me a little bit of an edge, but yeah. Let's check out Dak to the Future. Why don't you read it off and tell us about it?
We got Burrow, Bijan. So I don't have any shares of Bijan. I wasn't drafting high enough in our rookie drafts because my team is so good in Dynasty that I don't have high picks. And so I wanted to get a share of Bijan. I think he's going to be fantastic. And then I went with AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, and Drake London. So I feel good at with those three, and then with the upside of Drake London. So I feel really solid about that.
Mhm.
Joe Burrow's my guy. I have 2 shares of Joe Burrow now, Dynasty and Redraft, and then. With Cooks, I really think Cooks is due for a hell of a season. I think some people we tend to forget about him, but I think going to Dallas, with CD drawing that #1 coverage, Brandon Cooks is due for another 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, and I think he'll be really solid. And then Pickens, I like Pickens' upside. I think we've seen some of that in the preseason there, so I think I went with good balance and really good upside. I think Bijan obviously is probably the #1 rookie of the year candidate, obviously with my guy Quentin Johnston there. So yeah, I really feel like I did a good job trying to balance it out.
Mhm.
I wasn't I may have reached for Joe Burrow just a little bit, but I felt like I had to. And based on what you said, you would have took Joe Burrow if I didn't. So obviously that was the right pick. So I feel like I have really good top end talent at each level, and then Fryermuth as well. Um, I didn't reach for a tight end. I have Hawkinson in my league, which I felt really good about. So I felt like I could wait a little bit more, try and fill out some of that wide receiver depth with the
Mhm.
2 flexes, and then go with Fryermuth a little bit later as a value. So I feel pretty stable with this. The running back 2 position I kind of punted on a little bit, and I got your boy Gibby, and then I was kind of able to fill out the rest. If I got a Supernova 12 on my bench, I think I'm in good shape.
You did. You sniped him from me too, because oh man, if he would have fell, I would have been hyped about that. But yeah, I mean, you've got your AJ Brown, Amari Cooper could finish as a wide receiver one, possibly. London, Cooks, Pickens. I mean, possibly wide receiver twos, wide receiver three at worst. So yeah, I mean, you're in good position, especially you got Bijan, you got Burrow. But yeah, I like it. I think you're in the driver's seat.
We can really quick if you want. You can just open up my home league drafts if you want to touch on those, or we could save those for the next episode if it's winding down.
Yeah, I'm cool. Hold on, I just want to see if does ESPN do like a draft
Recap, I
or
believe so.
recap or some shit
Yeah, I believe they do. If you go into it,
around by team? No. Or does it take a little bit to that to come in?
no, I think you could go if you go into the league. There's a thing where it says draft recap.
This is old. I don't see. All right, they got a final standing projection.
Poke into that. And just bring up the rosters.
Hold on. I was still looking at the one that we just did. They've got me as number 7.
So it doesn't
Right.
account for trades.
No, it does. No, I mean it's all ESPN's like rankings and everything's all fucked up as we know. So, let's pull up the other league. I was able to get Josh Allen again in this league. All right, here we can pull up the whole shit like this. You see that? Noah, what's good, Noah? Appreciate you stopping in. Thoughts 10-man league. Burrow, Stevenson, Connor Diggs, Higgins, Kelsey. Okay. Deontay, Monty, Kirk, and Herbert. Diggs, Higgins, and Kelsey. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I mean, Connor is. You gotta hope we get a whole season out of him. Hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, he was solid last year when they sucked. So hopefully he's solid again. It's just a matter of him staying healthy or not. And then you've got Burrow in there. So yeah, man, I like it. What do you think about this, Hammer?
Any team that has Joe Burrow, I'm in love with. So you know how I feel about that. And then Diggs and Higgins and Kelsey to boot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can work around the running backs as we say all the time, but to lock in that QB1, basically wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and basically Kelsey is a de facto wide receiver 1 at tight end. So you have the advantage there.
Yep. See who needs a wide receiver. See if you can trade, Deontay and Connor for a running back. Maybe try and tear up from Connor if that's possible. I like it though. All right, let's take a look at who are you Gods of Thunder?
That is me. That is a beast of. That is a whale of a team, by the way.
Holmes, Lawrence, ETN, Pacheco, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay, Hawkinson, Drake London, JSN on the bench, Dylan, Sharps, Mitchell, Lazard, Reed. Yeah,
Don't skip over Jordan Love. Don't you dare do that.
Oh, he's on the fuck Jordan Love. As a QB3, okay, I like it. This is a 2 QB league, so a little bit different.
I was absolutely stunned. So I picked 7th in a 2 QB league, and I got Patrick Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to grab CeeDee Lamb as well. So for me to set myself up with those 2 QBs and CeeDee Lamb to boot, I was absolutely thrilled with this team. And I think outside of your team, just looking at it right here, I think I pretty much will have the advantage every single week going into a 2 QB matchup. So I
6
wanted
point
to
per passing touchdown also.
lock that in, and I feel like with CeeDee Lamb as my beautiful number one wide receiver, Deontay, Drake London, all that stuff. So I really love the way this draft shaped up. I was able to grab TJ Hawkinson, as we talked about. So that's a top 3 guy I locked in at that position. And even the running backs, like I'm okay with ETN and Pacheco right there. And then I have AJ Dillon on the bench. So the way this draft shaped up, my main focus was to lock in those 2 QBs and lock in a wide receiver 1 and figure everything else out from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. I like it. You got Hawkinson. I wasn't able to get an advantage tight end. I wish I was, but I wasn't able to in that one. I was a
I was
reasonable trade option for a Connor and Deontay Johnson. What running back should we be shooting for, Hammer? Deontay and Connor. Well, first look at who needs a wide receiver. I'll throw out a couple names of of running backs maybe to go after, but you've got the easier way to do it. The better way to do it is attack a team that needs a wide receiver.
because the value to them is going to be more.
Yeah, they'll be more willing to trade that running back. But how about a Joe Mixon-ish? Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm. I was going to go Najee Harris. Yep.
ETN-ish, Kenny Walker. I mean, I'm okay with really any of those guys. I don't know if you can go up even higher, like Tony Pollard, Saquon, Chubb. I don't know how high up you can get with Deontay and Connor, unless during the season somebody gets hurt. But those are some of the guys I'd be looking for. But more importantly, just find the team that needs a wide receiver, and that is going to tell you, what running back you're going to go after. So,
agreed.
Don't forget, they got to be willing to give up that running back, and they're not just going to give it up for nothing. They're going to need something, so you got to give them something that they need. Action Jackson, Lamar and Goff, Derrick Henry, Rashard White, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Juwan Johnson, Michael Thomas, DJ Moore on the bench, Zay Flowers, Swift, J-Mo. How about this squad, Hammer?
Yeah, he's really solid at the QB position. I think this team is going to go as far as Lamar takes him. If it's Lamar, MVP Lamar, he's got a chance to be in the championship. Derrick Henry for redraft is fantastic as well. Keenan Allen makes me nervous. Michael Thomas makes me nervous at this stage of the game. So, but he does have DJ Moore. He does have DJ Moore, which is fine. He does have Zay Flowers, which I'm okay with the nice little stack if you wanted to go with Zay in the flex. So, yeah, really solid team. I think it goes as far as Lamar, and maybe even to a lesser degree, Derrick Henry takes him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to guess I probably wound up starting DJ Moore over Michael Thomas eventually, but we'll see.
Agreed.
I really wanted DJ Moore. He wound up sniping me. Yeah, but I really wanted DJ Moore. And then you got my team over here, Winter Soldier, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. And I had, 11th pick? I was actually excited having a late pick because I actually looked back on our draft last year and I was like, all right, they weren't quarterbacks taken early. No. I was like, I got a chance here to get like 2 top 4, top 5 quarterbacks. I'm taking it. Like, that's insane,
Yep. I think it's really interesting too, as I'm watching the draft kind of unfold, and when Patrick Mahomes fell to me at the 1-7 in the 2 quarterback league, not even a super flex, 2 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. That kind of surprised me a little bit. So same thing in your position. Like I said, I think you have the better combination of quarterbacks between Allen and Burrow, but I think having that advantage, you're going to love that pretty much every single week. So I pretty much went in with kind of the same philosophy, is just lock in those 2 quarterbacks, treat it like a super flex basically, and lock in those 2 quarterbacks, a really good wide receiver, and then figure out the rest from there. I see you did pick up Gibbs as well, which was nice.
Yeah, I was able to get Gibbs. I was able to get JK. I was able to get Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett. I mean, he hasn't let us down yet. JSN's injured for at least the first game or so. And then Hammer sniped JSN for me. I was trying to take him, to have with Tyler Lockett, but
We
wound
could
up
talk trade. We could talk trade. That's okay.
it's not crazy about it right now. But yeah, then I was able to get Javante really late just to have another, good running back that I can possibly throw in there. Jerry Judy, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnson. So just some guys I can
Nice.
possibly throw in the
Yeah.
flex, or if Tyler Lockett doesn't wind up working out, I know at least I'm going to have some good, decent production to back me up. So I mean, I loved it. The way that I was able to get the quarterbacks, my running backs are good. Being able to get Calvin Ridley and Javante as well, he might be more of a, later on in the season, might be chugging along. Wound up taking Cole Kmet, who's going to be, top eight-ish
Mhm.
guy. So I've got some guys maybe I can trade on the bench here once they start going off. But yeah, I love the way it turned out for me in this particular draft too.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, the thing that stands out, especially in this league, in my home league, is the two quarterbacks. You want to lock those in, and then who's your third QB? Because the third QB is important in these
I got
leagues.
Mac Jones on the bench. Mac Jones as a
Okay.
third QB.
Okay.
So got Mac on the bench. So got some
That's
backup there. Yep.
I'm good with that.
Crispy, what up? What up, Crispy?
But
Ron's team, Tua and Russell Wilson to go with JT, Kenneth Walker, Jamar Chase, and St. Brown. That's an awesome 1-2 punch.
mhm.
Marquise Brown, Zach Ertz. I don't know about that one. Brace Hall on the bench, Ayuk on the bench, and a couple other guys. What do you think about this squad, Hammer?
Yeah, this is a little underrated. I think Russell Wilson is the big wild card here. We don't know what he's going to be. Pretty much everybody else, Kenneth Walker, but you have JT as well. But as you mentioned, that Jamar Chase, St. Brown 1-2 is pretty nasty. His quarterbacks, there's some question marks there. His quarterbacks aren't exactly, you know, Allen and Burrow or Mahomes and Lawrence, but some decent upside with Tua. Does he have a third QB?
Nah, no third QB. No
Which
third.
is for him, I would think he would have picked a third QB, knowing who he is. But still a pretty solid team. Definitely question marks though, as you said, at tight end, at flex. But if you got Chase and St. Brown, with JT and Kenneth Walker, you can make some things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, quarterback is really the only. I mean, Tua's good. He's going to be okay. Like he's not going to be bad, but
He's a
compared to
wild card.
like Hammer's two quarterbacks and my two quarterbacks, I mean,
Even
that's
even Lamar and Goff. Even Lamar and Goff is respectable.
not. So yeah, not bad. I love the wide receivers. You got Ayuk down there too, so you're fine there. I like the running backs. You're good. Let's check out dropping Tom shells over here. Kirk Cousins with Stafford, Bijan, Akers, Diggs, Olave, Kittle, Mike Williams, Sutton on the bench, Stroud on the bench, Algier, Boyd. How about this one, Hammer? Kirko.
Stafford in that QB2 spot makes me nervous, but CJ Stroud is there, so that kind of balances that equation a little bit. Diggs and Olave, I do like with Bijan. Kittle, like I said, I really like Kittle in the back half of the season, but I do like him a little bit more throughout the course of the season now that we know who the quarterback in San Francisco is going to be, and he's played really well with Brock Purdy. So I think Kittle really, is I think you could add Kittle to that kind of tight end advantage group just outside of it. Just because he does play really well with Brock Purdy. Now, there are a lot of weapons in San Francisco, but I think Kittle can give you a slight advantage, particularly in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that QB2 is really shaky to me.
Baby Santa, what up? Team 3. Which one is team 3? Which one are you looking at here?
Your team, Winter Soldier?
Top here, Gods of Thunder, Action Jackson, or Winter Soldier? Are you talking about this 300 Brolic team? Are you talking about when Cheetah goes boom team? Let me know which one you're talking about, Baby Zan. Appreciate you for joining in. Y'all doing team reviews for people in the chat or not? Yeah, absolutely. We'll do a team review for you. Just make sure you smash that like and subscribe, and yeah, throw your team in there. We'll give you a little review. Throw it out there.
So yeah, this team is okay. I think Matthew Stafford does make me nervous as that QB2, but like I said, you got Stroud in there. The Bijan, Diggs, Olave, I like that, and I think Kirk Cousins is really, like we talked about this on the previous one. I think Kirk Cousins is a little underrated as a QB1.
He is right now, especially in redraft. It definitely is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm with you. A little bit worried about Stafford, I guess. Maybe that offense isn't good. Akers, got to hope for the best. Mike Williams, hopefully he stays healthy, but got Sutton on the bench. Not too bad. When Cheetah goes boom, this is Bagua, I believe, right?
Yep.
He always punts the QBs. And you know what? For punting the QB, I'm not even going to lie. For punting the QB position, I would think that the position players would be a little bit better than what I'm seeing here. I don't know if maybe that's just bias for hating on Lou right now. But what do you think, Hammer?
You know what's the interesting part about this is, and I talked about this at the top of the show, is when you're in a 2-quarterback league, you really have to get those 2 guys locked and loaded. Now, as you said, he took Saquon because he's a Giants fan, and he took Cheetah. I think he took those guys 1-2, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm totally fine with. Those are 2 good picks, but in a 2-quarterback league, one of those 2 picks has to be a quarterback. Anthony Richardson is a big time wild card. We've seen what he is in preseason. He's a very inaccurate quarterback right now. He's going to make plays with his legs. He's going to do some nice things, but if your 2 top guys are Anthony Richardson and Sam Howell, with Kenny Pickett, honestly, I'd probably have Kenny Pickett in one of those 2 slots over probably Sam Howell at this point. I'm not sure what Sam Howell is, but I probably have Kenny Pickett in one of those 2 top spots to begin the season. I think I tend to agree with you because, Cheetah's Cheetah. I'm good with that.
Saquon, we're good with that.
Saquon, right. Aaron Jones as your RB2. Okay, I can take it or leave it. And then DK, you like you said, if you punt the quarterbacks, you'd expect to have some more top-end position players. So I tend to agree. I think there's some upside there. What that upside is, I'm not quite sure yet, especially from the quarterback position.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, there's a world where DK has, 10 plus touchdowns. There's a world that Jahan Dotson finishes as a wide receiver too.
Yep.
So really it's on his quarterbacks and Aaron Jones and, a little bit of luck with DK and Jahan Dotson to see kind of how far, that's going to take him.
Yeah, totally agree.
Baby Santa. Let's check you out. Fields, Aaron Rodgers, Saquon. Is this one QB? Let us know. Let us just know the format real quick. Is this one QB or is this super flex? And what's like the starters? But Fields, Aaron Rodgers, Saquon, Pollard, Connor and James Cook, Godwin, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, Kirk, OBJ, Pitts. It was an auction draft. Okay. And I can see where, especially if you're not used to auction drafts, and I don't know if you've ever done an auction draft before, but I'm sure you probably spent a ton of money on Fields, Saquon, and Pollard and kind of got stuck with taking all the shit that was left. The trick to the auction drafts is just to wait and have just crazy patience and let people take some of the top guys and waste their money. And then you'll be able to kind of dominate that way, especially if people aren't used to doing auction drafts. So, listen, I like the quarterback. I like the running back and Saquon and Pollard. You've got some other guys, Connor and Cook as well. But the wide receivers are where it's kind of iffy, where you got Godwin, Evans, and Mike Williams and Kirk. OBJ, Pitts, I'm okay with that. But, yeah, I don't know. Hammer, what do you think?
So I've never done an auction draft. I'm not super familiar, but I have a rough idea of what goes into it. Not crazy about it, just because it gets crazy, like you said, with people spending crazy money on these top guys. Do you have the patience? Don't you have the patience? Do you want to lock in one of those top guys, etc.? With Fields and Saquon, you feel pretty solid about that. The fact that it's one quarterback, having Aaron Rodgers is kind of like, but Fields, does have a little bit of an injury history. The wide receivers, as you touched on, is what really what it comes down to. And also, too, having two wide receivers on the same team in Godwin and Mike Evans might come back to bite you a little bit, especially with your third and fourth being Mike Will and Christian Kirk. So that's a little rough. But I think you should be able to make some trades potentially.
Our receiver sketchy, fresh. So appreciate you, baby Santa.
Thanks, man.
New sub.
Bing bong.
All right, so yeah, we went over that team. Let's get over some of these real quick. Asian Punisher goes with Hurts and Bryce Young. Tony Pollard, Najee Harris, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Hopkins, Evan Ingram, George Pickens. Addison on the bench, Geno Smith on the bench, Elijah Moore. Bench guys. What are we thinking about Asian Punisher's team?
So for all those out there, Asian Punisher, one of our good friends out there that we've known for a while, he always has a really good team in my league, and even in your league when he's in it, he always has a really good team competing for the championship every year. So I'm just gonna preface my statement before I talk about his team with saying he always picks a really good team, and he always plays well. So it's a good team. I like the little stack with Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. The running backs are solid. Bryce Young. If I remember correctly, I think he reached a little bit for DeAndre Hopkins.
I think so. I think so too.
If I remember correctly in this particular league, but other than that, I'm pretty good with it. Geno Smith as your third QB, I'm perfectly fine with. Obviously having Bryce Young, Madison, I'm good with as well. So it's a good team. The only issue I have is that D-Hop pick, which I think he reached a little bit for.
Yeah, I agree. Baby Santa, appreciate you. Hit that noti button and come through anytime, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, team's not bad. I mean, Bryce Young at the QB2 slot. I think that's okay. But I don't know about you, but I'm thinking me and you are about to smash some of these squads.
Crazy stuff happens, though.
It definitely does. Of course.
But
you are being a little bit biased, but at the same time, we're kind of not.
Because the QB position, it's it's crazy too, because not to say I haven't taken it seriously in years prior, but I really emphasized it this year. Especially where the draft fell, and I know you were touching on it earlier, where it didn't seem like people were prioritizing the QBs early in the first basically round-ish, where it's like, damn, I could get Mahomes and T-Law, you could get Hurts and Burrow. I mean, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow.
That's crazy,
bruh. Sign me up.
Imagine I had Allen and Burrow in Dynasty. Shit,
bruh. Sign me up. So,
New York Life here. We've got Fields and Daniel Jones. Not too bad. Jacobs with Connor, JJ, Terry McLaurin, Darren Waller, Monty, Kirk on the bench. No third QB. Be an issue with two rushing QBs, right? Or could be something to at least think about.
Potentially.
I mean, JJ, Josh Jacobs, McLaurin, Waller. Yeah, what do you think about this squad?
So, also more full disclosure on these teams. Most of these teams have been in this league for years, so we pretty much know each other. We know the teams. We know how they draft. This is a team that regularly gets auto-drafted, or sometimes we think this team does crazy things and always ends up kind of in the mix somehow. So there's really good upside here. I mean, Fields and Daniel Jones, two Russian quarterbacks, the upside is crazy. But the floor is crazy too, right? Both of these guys could get hurt. Daniel Jones, we're still not quite sold on if he's that dude or not. Josh Jacobs, I love me some Josh Jacobs. He just signed his deal. which I don't think we touched on that. He signed the contract, so he's getting ready to get his behind in there. And then listen, JJ can carry a team on any given week. You know, McLaurin is steady wide receiver 2, and then is Waller going to be healthy? So, you know, a high floor, kind of low ceiling, a high ceiling, low floor kind of team. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%, because if Fields and Jones do their thing, you've got JJ. I mean, Jacobs, automatically you're in, you know, some sort of contention. So we got Bagala here coming through. Bagala, your team is straight trash.
Trash.
You guys suck each other. Oh God, Bagala, who is the third person on this show of the tripod, but most of the time can't make it through. We just talked about his sorry ass team a little while ago. We'll finish talking about the rest of these squads here.
Sorry ass team.
Rondell, Deshaun Watson, and Dak Prescott.
That's solid.
To go with CMC and Chubb, which is fucking solid too. Amari Cooper, I like that. Brandon Cooks, okay. Miles Sanders in the flex. Joku. Purdy on the bench with McKinnon, Mostert, MVS, Van Jefferson. So yeah, what about this one, Hammer?
That's really not bad. And as you're going through it, I'm thinking that this has the makings of a playoff team. Right? You're just solid across the board, and then you got CMC and Chubb, the two hammers at running back. Amari Cooper, not crazy as the wide receiver 1, but has low end wide receiver 1 potential with Deshaun, and he's got the stack. Right now that I'm kind of breaking it down more, so he's got the stack there, which is nice. He's basically got the triple stack with Njoku at tight end.
Yeah, that's true. He's got that offense. Oh shit, he's got the whole offense: Deshaun, Chubb, Cooper, and Joku.
So is that going to be an issue at bye week? It's only 1 week. But we talk about that as well.
We did talk about that, and I'm one of them that's like, you know, if you have a full squad for the rest of your season and only 1 week, you know, you've got to fill in. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but I mean, is it an advantage or is it a disadvantage? It's tough to say, right?
Yeah.
Rather than missing one of those guys every week.
Yeah, this is a solid. This has all the makings. If everything, you know, is equal, this looks like a playoff team.
If everything pans out for the Browns, basically, if Deshaun Watson turns back into form, then he's got a good squad there.
And I like Purdy as a third quarterback really quick. That's a good third quarterback.
Yep. Got Purdy down there as a number 3. Bagala said I'm at work. Sorry, fuckers. My team about to make a run. My team was sorry last year. I made the ship. Yeah, your team is. Sorry, but all right, mass production. We've got Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. What was this, Hammer?
Hey, we'll see.
Jimmy G on the bench. You know, there's been rumblings of Kyler Murray. They're saying that they're not going to play him at all. So you know, I would definitely worry about that. You've got Jimmy G, so you're okay for now. But when was the last time Jimmy G played a full season?
Good point.
Austin Eckler, Ramondre Stevenson, Garrett Wilson, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Pitts, Chris Godwin, Jimmy G on the bench with Myers, Mooney, Claypool, whatever. What do you think about this squad with Garrett Wilson, Deebo, Austin Eckler, Ramondre?
Yeah, so I'm looking at it, and then if the QB2 spot was a little more upgraded, you feel better about this team. He does have the Aaron to Garrett stack, which I think is going to be really nice this season. Ramondre as your RB2 is perfectly fine. I love that. He's got Kyle Pitts, right? Chris Godwin is a fine flex for now. I think it's that QB2 position that could be the Achilles heel here.
Yeah, definitely. Same boat as you. Other than that, I mean, it's not bad at all. But that QB2 position is going to be an issue. Let's check out this other squad here in the middle. Ritter and Mayfield. Jeez.
So really quick, this is one of my guys. He was actually text him a little bit after the draft. He was actually on the ferry when the draft was happening. So those first couple of picks, he couldn't lock
Oh,
those
he didn't set
QBs
the
in.
queue up.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But he's got good pieces after that. So we'll go ahead.
He does. He does. Mixon, Pierce, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle. I mean, it's a solid few guys there, along with Goddard and Gibby on the bench, Pittman on the bench, Mike Evans, Christian Watson. What do you think about this?
Yeah, as I talked about, I had a conversation with him, and he kind of he wasn't able to jump in for the first 2 rounds, I believe, and that kind of cost him at quarterback. As you can see, he has 2 starting quarterbacks, so he's not completely bare, but not the quarterbacks that you kind of want going into the season in the 2-quarterback league. But when your top 3 wide receivers are Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, and Jalen Waddle, you can make some moves there.
Mm-hmm.
There's moves to be made with those guys. So I love the value that he has. I'm fine with Mixon and Pierce, but I think he should be able to move one of those wide receivers and get a quarterback.
True. I agree, bro. He's got everything else everywhere. He's just gotta have to move. And then he's gonna have to play, Watson or Evans, Pittman in the flex, which is fine.
Which is fine. Yep, that's totally fine.
We continuously are talking about these 2-for-1s and trying to get something. So, and then the last team here is, I think this is Duran, right? Herbert and Derek Carr to go with James Cook and Dalvin Cook. So he goes with the Cook brother combo. AJ Brown, Juju, Travis Kelce, and Mark Andrews. So he goes flex. He goes Mark Andrews even in the flex,
which I'm okay with. But
Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Gabe Davis, DJ Shark, no QB3 on the bench. What about this one?
So really interesting. I think his running backs are a little thin, but that's okay. I think James Cook has some upside. Dalvin Cook has really good upside in the first, few weeks, especially with them working Brees back in. But I think the thing that stands out, and you highlighted this, is the Kelce Andrews combination. There's a lot you could do there. You could play, Andrews as your flex, because that's the advantage we talk about at the tight end spot. Or you can move Andrews for a QB2. I'm okay with Derek Carr if you have Herbert, or a wide receiver, which you're probably going to need on this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm okay with the value. I think.
I wonder if he took it for trade bait or if he took it for real, just to I'm always going to play these 2.
I think either way, it's you'll be able to move Mark Andrews.
He does have Kamara on the bench. He does have Kamara on the bench, so I forgot. I kind of skipped over that. I didn't see that. So he's got the Cook brothers with Kamara on the bench,
which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the biggest kind of thing with this team is he looking to move Andrews or Kelce and bolster that wide receiver, because he's pretty thin at wide receiver after AJ Brown.
Yeah, well, he does have Kelce, so don't forget. I mean, it's a shallow, kind of starter league. So Kelce is a fucking big deal,
Agreed.
All right. So what do you think was? Let's see. Who do you think was the worst team? If we had to pick, maybe we could pick a bottom 3 instead of just one. I don't know.
Well, I think mass production, just
Definitely
because of that uncertainty at that QB position. There's some good pieces there, but that uncertainty at that QB2, like you said, when does Jimmy G ever play a full season? And then we don't know if Kyler Murray's playing at all. Obviously, when Cheetah goes boom, concerns me at the quarterback position. I'm not going to say that's a top 3 bottom team, but it just concerns me.
Yeah, I feel you
a little bit. And then, Chicken Dinner I like.
I did Hove again. We just doesn't have the QB.
Yeah.
For right now.
But the reason why I wouldn't put him there is because he's so loaded at the other positions. It really makes up for not having those 2 QBs. Scroll down some more. Let me see. Tom Shells, Cousins, and Stafford.
Diggs, Olave, Bijan.
It's a pretty good team. the Stafford thing makes me a little nervous, but
Yeah.
Punisher, I know Punisher is always pretty good. And I guess, I mean, I would say New York Life, just not as a bottom three, just a team that concerns me because of, like you said, the two Russian quarterbacks. Is Daniel Jones that dude? You know, outside of Justin Jefferson, not a ton of hammers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess mass production, God did Hove. I'm worried about those two. I think in particular. Um, yeah, we mentioned cheetahs, we mentioned Tom Shells. I mean, yeah. That's it. Do you think there is some top teams here?
Yeah, I do like Chicken Dinner's team. I think there's real good stability at each position. Like I like the balance.
Hmm.
Really good, really strong at the running backs, but also really balanced as well. You know, Watson and Prescott. I'm comfortable with that. Obviously, your team with Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. That's really good. And then the Ridley. I mean, I think Lockett will be good. I think Ridley will be good as well. But the two quarterbacks matter, man. They really do.
Yep.
And I really do like my team. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I really like my team. Um,
I like your team too. I should have took Deontay. I took Lockett. They're in like the same area. I have a few shares of Deontay already. I don't have Lockett, so I wound up just taking Lockett. But it was either one of those two guys for me. Which yeah, that was a kind of folio play.
I was sitting. I was literally. I'll be honest. I was sitting there, and I was like, "There's no way Mahomes falls. There's no way Mahomes falls. There's
I
no
was
fucking
I
way."
thought maybe it was gonna fall to me. I was like, "There's no
No,
fucking way it falls to me."
no.
But I was still able to get the QB2 and
Yeah.
QB3. Basically, you can kind of say.
Hmm. So I was really happy with that, and I was honestly I was really happy to kind of punt the RB for a little while, get CD. If I could get those two guys with CD, I was super stoked about it. And get Hawkinson. I was thrilled with that. London. So overall, I love my team. I'm not going to say I have the best team, but I have the most confidence. Why shouldn't I? But there are still some teams, like I say, your team is good. I really do like Chicken Dinner's team, just on balance alone.
Mhm.
Action Jackson is pretty good too. The Keenan thing, he and Michael Thomas, but he's got, like you said, he's got DJ Moore. Um, and then obviously Asian Punisher always has a good team. I feel like when it's all said and done, Asian Punisher always
Yeah,
seems to put together a really good team.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I love having two
I
drafts
mean,
in
ETN
one day.
Pacheco. Are you worried about either of those guys a little bit? That
ETN,
would be
no.
the only two weak spots where I would say, okay, like there's good case scenarios, there's bad case scenarios, of course, depending how you look at it. But
ETN, no. Pacheco, maybe a little bit more, just because that Kansas City running back spot has always been, in flux. Um, but if he's at my running back two spot, that's why I don't worry about that as much. With ETN, I feel much more comfortable, and then figure it out. I still have AJ Dillon down there. I have a couple other guys that I can mix and match. I got Charbonnet, I got Eli Mitchell. So I got guys that I can mix and match. The most important thing for me was, like I said, locking those two QBs, locking that wide receiver one, and I was able to get the advantage guy in TJ Hawkinson.
hmm yeah, I feel like I see you in the ship. PB Dubs, let's do it, PB Dubs.
Yes, sir, PB.
Checo's explosive. He only needs 8 to 12 touches, kind of like a Swift, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Stevie B, yes, sir. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm excited. I think I drafted well, according to my standards. But
About
yeah,
to shake
I
out.
think with
Do you
Allen
worry?
and Burrow, I mean, are you kidding me? I could put up 80 between those two alone, like
Uh, same,
in 6-point passing tutties. You
same.
know, you
Do
too.
you?
You got Trevor. As long as Trevor takes that next step, and hopefully he does, because I got Calvin Ridley. So
Yeah. Yep. So when we play each other,
I could,
we're flip flopping.
yeah, I take away some of that pain though if it's Lawrence to Ridley.
The one thing I will say about your team is, do you worry about Javante early on?
Yeah, I do. I do. Early on, I do. I'm not crazy worried because I could probably plug in Addison from day one. For the time being until Javante's ready, or I could just play Javante. I don't know how long until Judy comes back. So we got a few guys that I can fill into the flex, or maybe somehow make some sort of trade or something,
Mm-hmm.
make something happen. I got Mac Jones down here too, so if I want to, throw around him to maybe one of these QB needy teams, maybe I can do that. I mean, Allen has been pretty good. He hasn't really been hurt that much like that. And Burrow is okay. So I don't have
Mm-hmm.
like rushing QBs where I have to like worry too crazy much. But at the same time, of course, it's nice to have that QB3. So unless I could really pull something off that really kind of helps me, I'll probably just keep him. But, you know,
For sure.
it's Bagala. You guys are flip flopping cocks right now. That's right. This is disgusting. This is the real deal. We tell it how it is, bro. All right. Me and Hammer will be meeting in the ship probably. And
My only question is, have we said anything that's inaccurate
yeah, we'll be just looking at you in the rear view, bro, as usual.
with Sam Howell and who else does he have on his team? Anthony Richardson.
Richardson,
Anthony
yeah.
Richardson has
Kenny
a
Pickett. He should be okay with Kenny Pickett and Anthony Richardson because he's got a good floor.
yeah.
It's just you're banking on you're banking on the upside. So what Bagala likes to do, I've noticed, is
Mm-hmm.
hammer away the position players and then take some upside QBs later on. And so you're relying on those, both of those QBs
Panning
to
out. Yeah.
pan out and have that upside. So,
Good luck.
it's just how many times is that going to, benefit you or really, help you win? And I mean, it's been none so far. So I don't know when you might want to change that approach.
Take him down. Oh my god, that's fucking hell. How many times has that benefited you so far? None.
Yeah, we speak facts,
That's
uncensored,
gold.
unfiltered.
Pure gold. Pure fucking
But yeah, I mean, I guess we're about to get up out of here. Anything else you want to say, Hammer?
Nah, man, it was a hell of a day. 2 drafts, which was awesome. Redraft, which I'm obviously pretty stoked about. And also, too, it gives us a different feel than Dynasty and, the different formats, which is nice, which I like as well. So I'm always excited. It always feels like kind of like Christmas come early kind of deal when we're doing our fantasy drafts and the season's like 10 days away, basically, which is awesome. Lions, Chiefs. So, yeah, super excited.
Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all for coming out. Make sure you guys smash that like for us, hit that subscribe. But we are up out of here. Stay tuned for us on Tuesday. We've got our show on our channel and the Hustler Network. So we stream both channels on Tuesday. May or may not hop on tomorrow just to kind of hang out, answer some questions if anybody's got draft stuff or anything like that. I don't know if you're doing anything tomorrow, Hammer, but if you want to join me,
I might have
we
some
don't have to be
family
on.
over, but
Yeah, we don't have to be on for long. Maybe just kind of hop on, hang out, see if we can get any more people coming in and ask
yeah,
some
let me
questions
know.
and stuff. Baby
Let me know
Santa,
what time.
appreciate you for coming out. PB Dubs,
Yes.
Bagala, appreciate you, but fuck you at the same time. Noah,
Boom. With your whack ass thing.
Santos, Key, Elias, Trey, Kevin, of course. Anybody else out there who is tuning in, appreciate y'all. But we out.